My child, stop what you're doing. This is a prophetic interruption, a holy message straight from the mouth of God, and you are the one I'm speaking to. The hour is late, and the assignment on your life is greater than the warfare you've endured. You've been questioning, delaying, shrinking, but I say to you now, you are chosen, and it's time to finish this. This is not suggestion, it's a summon. So don't scroll. Don't pause. Don't come back later. Watch every second, because in this word, I will expose lies, awaken destiny, and release what hell tried to keep from you. The enemy has fought this moment because he knows what happens when you hear truth with fire. Stay with me. Hear me out. Because by the end of this message, your spirit will not be the same, and I will hold you accountable for what you're about to receive. My beloved, let me speak to the core of who you are, not just the surface version you've shown to others, not just the resilient face you've worn in the presence of pressure, but the real you, the one who wonders late at night if they were truly made for more. Listen closely. You were not chosen at random, nor were you a convenient solution to a heavenly vacancy. You were handpicked before time itself began. I held you in my thoughts long before your body ever formed in your mother's womb. The stars had not yet been named. The oceans had not been told how far they could go. The earth had not drawn its first breath, and yet I had already written your name upon the scroll of destiny. This was not a whim. This was not a late decision. It was a holy preordaining, a selection drenched in eternal intention. I didn't choose you because you were loud, perfect, or polished. I chose you because I saw something eternal in you, something heaven recognizes even when you do not. I didn't wait for your strength to appear before placing a calling on your life. I placed the calling, and then I shaped you to carry it. And even in the moments when you doubted, when you second-guessed your place in this vast divine narrative, I never once withdrew my hand. You are not a backup plan, child. You are not someone I settled for when others said no. You are my intentional choice. Heaven's breath marked you before man's opinions tried to label you. And now, the time has come for that calling to awaken in fullness. You have glimpsed fragments of it in the past, small flickers that lit up your soul and made you feel alive. But now I am removing the veil. I am igniting what have been waiting patiently beneath the surface. You were chosen then. You are chosen now. And it's time, my child. It's time for the chosen part of you to rise and finish what I started. You walked through valleys that almost convinced you were forgotten. You've endured seasons so silent that it felt like even I had gone quiet. But I tell you now, that was not abandonment. It was the sacred silence before a divine unveiling. I hid certain truths from you not to hurt you, but to prepare you. Because if I had revealed them too soon, they would have crushed what they were meant to crown. But now, the moment has come. The appointed time has arrived. The atmosphere has shifted, and what I once whispered in secret, I now proclaim aloud. You are chosen. You were always chosen. And this is not the beginning of something new. It is the awakening of what I placed in you long ago. This is destiny remembering your name. This is calling coming alive in full color. This is heaven pointing and saying, that one right there, they were made for this. So don't you dare diminish your worth. Don't you dare talk yourself out of the role I created for you. Do not let fear wear the robe that was tailored for faith. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too behind. You are perfectly aligned with a timeline crafted by eternal hands. What you thought would delay was actually design. I was never watching you fail. I was watching you form. Watching you bend without breaking. Watching you bleed without bitterness. Watching you walk forward with shaking knees but unwavering devotion. And that, my beloved, is what qualifies you. Not perfection, not performance, but perseverance rooted in surrender. Now stand tall. Let your spirit inhale the truth of this moment. The heavens are echoing a name, and it is yours. You are chosen. And it's time. It's time to finish what we started together. Beloved, I know the weight of wondering. I've seen the way doubt has circled your thoughts like a storm refusing to break. I watched you sit in quiet rooms, asking questions into the air as if no one was listening. Am I really the one? Was that word really for me? Did I imagine it all? You tried to hide those questions behind strength, behind service, behind smiles that didn't always reach your eyes. But I heard them. I felt every syllable before you even gave them breath. And now I speak not as a distant deity, but as the God who cradled you through every moment of insecurity. Yes, child. It was always you. You didn't fall into purpose by accident. You didn't stumble into calling by default. I bid he on purpose with purpose but purpose. You are not my second thought. You are my first design. You keep looking around the room, assuming there's someone more qualified. You assume someone else is better spoken, better suited, more equipped. But I am not like man. I do not choose based on appearance, popularity, or polish. I choose based on availability, surrender, and heart. I looked across generations and saw a willingness in you that others buried beneath pride. I saw a heart in you that beat with hunger, not for spotlight, but for me. And that is why I called your name. Even when you doubted your own worth, even when you felt unseen in a sea of louder voices, I was whispering through eternity, you are it. You are mine. You are the one I've chosen to carry this mantle. There is no backup plan, no alternate route. You are not a placeholder. You are a promise in motion. The oil I've poured on your life cannot be transferred, and it will not be wasted. You think because others don't see it, maybe I don't either. But hear me, the approval of man was never your source. And their confusion about your calling doesn't cancel the clarity of my commission. You were anointed long before they recognized you. You were appointed long before they affirmed you. I wrapped you in destiny before the first word was spoken against you. And those words, those curses of comparison, those arrows of accusation, they may have pierced your skin, but they did not touch your assignment. You are still it. Heaven is still backing you. The angels I assigned to your life have not changed their post. The heavens have not withdrawn their alignment. You are not trying to earn what I already gave you. You are simply walking into the fullness of what has always been yours. And that journey, the one that has felt so hidden, so long, so confusing, is exactly the proof of your set-apartness. Rare oil requires rare cutting, and rare crushing produces rare crowns. So lift your eyes, not to the crowd, not to your critics. Lift your eyes to me. I am the one who anointed you in secret, and I will reveal you in my timing. But the unveiling will not be about applause, it will be about obedience. Because you said yes when no one saw. Because you followed me without a map. Because you wept and worshipped at the same time. Because your yes cost you comfort, but you gave it anyway. That's why this next season will not be built on strategy. It will be built on surrender. And your surrender has already set things in motion. Do not question anymore if you are the one. You are not only the one, you are the only one who could carry this in the exact way I need it carried. This is holy ground. You are not a duplicate. You are divine design. And now, my appointed one, it's time to walk like you are what heaven already knows you to be. The oil is real. The calling is active. The mantle is moving. Finish it, because no one else can. When the rooms were quiet and your name was forgotten in conversations where you longed to be mentioned, I was there. I watched as others were celebrated, promoted, noticed, while you remained faithfully in the shadows, serving, sowing, waiting. But child, hear me clearly. I didn't overlook you. I marked you. I marked you in the silence. I called your name when no one else thought it carried weight. While others were praised for performances, I was preparing you in private. Your obscurity was not punishment. It was protection. I shielded your name from premature exposure because the weight of your assignment required time to ferment, deepen, and take root in places applause could never reach. I saw how your heart strained to stay soft when rejection tried to harden it. I watched how you whispered my name while others shouted theirs. And in that quiet, sacred space where it felt like no one saw you, I saw everything. I was marking your tears as oil. I was branding your wilderness with favor. I was putting your name in places your feet had not yet touched. And yes, you felt the sting of being overlooked. You felt the ache of waiting while others sprinted. But I tell you now, the ones who raced ahead did not carry what I placed in you. They carried momentum. You carry mantle. You carry mystery. You carried the kind of weight that doesn't shine in the spotlight. It shifts atmospheres. And that kind of weight is only forged in silence. The silence wasn't void, it was sacred. I whispered instructions into your spirit that only stillness could receive. While others clapped for each other, I was engraving my voice into the folds of your obedience. Your calling was never attached to a microphone or a platform. It was born in the hidden place where you chose me over validation. And because of that, I have set you apart. That's why the process has felt different. That's why your path didn't look like theirs. You were being punished. You were being preserved. I covered you while I crafted you. I isolated you while I infused you. I held your name in the folds of my robe while others forgot it, because I knew this moment was coming. This very season where everything that was once silent begins to speak with fire. So don't mourn the silence any longer. It was never abandonment, it was alignment. And now, what I whispered in secret, I will thunder in demonstration. Your name, child, your name has been etched in the courts of heaven, and the seal is breaking. I am calling it forth with fire and favor. What was overlooked will now overflow. What was hidden will now be honored. You were never behind. You were simply being positioned to carry something they could not understand. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are marked. And what I mark, no man can cancel. What I call, no season can silence. What I set apart, no critic can contaminate. And now, my chosen one, it is time to step forward, not with fear, but with fire. It's time to finish this, not because the journey has been easy, but because the mantle is ready. You have been seen. You have been known. You have been called. And now it's time to walk in it. My beloved, that burning you've been feeling, that pull you can't explain, that inner fire that will go out no matter how hard life has tried to extinguish it. That was me. That was never just passion. That was never mere restlessness. That was my whisper wrapped in flame. You thought maybe it was just your emotions. You second-guessed it, chalked it up to desire or desperation. But child, listen to me. I do not light fires without purpose. That holy heat in your chest, the ache that wakes you in the night, the vision you can't seem to forget even when everything around you says let it go, that was the echo of my voice reverberating through the chambers of your spirit. You weren't imagining it. You were receiving it. And now that fire is demanding a response. I never whispered just to comfort. I whisper to call, and that call carries weight. It carries a sound that doesn't fade. It weaves itself into your identity like thread into a tapestry. You don't just carry a dream. You carry a divine directive. And the reason it won't die down, the reason it resurfaces in moments of stillness, is because I placed it there as a seed of assignment. You were daydreaming. You were discerning. You weren't being dramatic, you were being drawn. Drawn into something deeper, higher, holier. That fire wasn't just for filling, it was for forging. I've been using it to shape you, stretch you, and now, to send you. That's why it hurt when you tried to ignore it. That's why it unsettled you when you tried to settle. Because the whisper of heaven cannot be drowned out by earthly noise. And your spirit knows it. You can feel the difference between ambition and anointing. You can feel the tug between comfort and calling. And every time you've tried to dismiss it, I've reignited it. Softly, steadily, sometimes suddenly. Because, child, that whisper is the map to your mandate. I didn't call you to carry someone else's fire. I lit a unique flame within you. A holy blaze no storm can extinguish, no critic can quench, no delay can destroy. So stop treating it like it's optional. Stop pretending it's nothing. You've been marked by fire, and fire doesn't flicker for fun, it consumes. Let it consume your fear. Let it consume your hesitation. Let it consume your need for constant confirmation. That fire is not asking for your perfection. It's asking for your permission. Will you let it burn freely now? Will you finish what that flame began? Because it's not just your heart that's burning. It's my word burning through your heart. And now is the time to move. Not later. Not when everything feels perfect. Now. Because the whisper has become a roar. And the roar is declaring, you are chosen. You are called. And the fire is proof. So let it burn, child. Let it break you open and build you again. Because what you've been sensing wasn't your imagination, it was my invitation. And it's time to answer. Let me tell you something sacred, something you've forgotten under the weight of expectations and the fog of comparison. You weren't chosen from the crowd, you were crafted before the crowd. Before people placed their labels on you, before life tried to rewrite your worth, I already etched my plans into your very DNA. You weren't a random pick out of a lineup. You were a divine blueprint, hand drawn by eternity. I didn't find you in the crowd. I formed you before the crowd even existed. You were set apart in the silence of my sovereignty, chosen in the chambers of my glory, stitched together with intention and breathed into with purpose. And that's why you never fit in, isn't it? That's why you always felt different. Even when you tried to blend, you felt the tug of distinction. Even when you wore the mask, your spirit screamed for something more. Because you were never made to be diluted, never meant to be mass-produced. I didn't form you to follow trends. I forged you to shift atmospheres. You carry something original, something heaven-breathed, something earth-shaking. You weren't just given life, you were given assignment. You weren't just created, you were consecrated. And that consecration comes with a cost, but it also comes with a weight of glory nothing can counterfeit. I made you with precision. Every scar has purpose. Every delay had direction. Every wound has been woven into wisdom. When you thought you were being broken, I was actually building you. When you thought I was silent, I was scripting something the earth had never seen before. Your steps have not been random. Your path has not been pointless. You were formed in fire and purposed with flame. The same fire that refined you will now reveal you. And the same hands that molded you in secret are now pushing you into fulfillment. You don't need to compete for position when you carry presence. And you, my child, carry presence. So let me say it again, louder this time, for the parts of you still trying to doubt. You are not just chosen. You are set apart. Not separated in punishment, but in purpose. Set apart for things so specific, so weighty, so divine, that they could not be trusted to just anyone. And that's why your path has felt lonely at times. That's why the warfare has been personal. That's why the process had been peculiar. Because rare assignments require rare preparation. You are not common. You are not convenient. You are my instrument, tuned for a sound only you can release. And now, it's time. Not to audition for their approval, but to execute what I already anointed. You are formed with precision. You are purposed with fire. You are chosen, not from the crowd, but before it ever existed. So stop lowering your posture. Stop waiting for consensus. Stand up. The heavenlies have already declared it. You are it. And now, beloved, it's time to finish what I started in you. Not with fear, not with apology, but with fire. My precious one, I see it. I see the weariness hiding behind your eyes. The quiet heaviness that creeps into your chest when no one else is looking. The sighs you've mastered so well. Those unspoken cries wrapped in polite smiles. You've been walking through a battlefield while pretending it's a garden. Carrying weight after weight, layer upon layer, while telling others, I'm fine. But child, you don't have to pretend in my presence. I know how long this journey has felt. I know how heavy your yes has become. I know the weight of continuing when the results don't reflect the sacrifice. I know you've wondered, is it even worth it anymore? And I say to you now with unwavering certainty, yes. Not because it's easy, not because it's quick, but because it's holy. You're not just carrying responsibility, you're carrying revelation. And that burden carries both beauty and pressure. But listen to me closely now, beloved. You've come too far to turn back now. You didn't survive all that pain just to surrender to the pressure. You didn't make it through nights of unanswered prayers and days of delayed breakthroughs just to bow to fatigue. You've endured fires that would have incinerated lesser vessels. You stood through storms others couldn't even comprehend. And even when your knees buckled and your voice trembled, you stayed. You stayed. And that staying is sacred to me. I didn't just watch your strength. I recorded your surrender. I didn't just notice your faith. I felt your fatigue. And I've bottled every tear, every prayer, every piece of perseverance you poured into the unseen. You've built altars in the valley, and I have seen them. I've seen your resilience dressed in rags. I've seen your hope hanging by threads. But you kept moving. That's why I say with full authority, you are too close now to give up. The finish line is not a mirage. It's a manifestation, emerging now from the very place where you felt most defeated. Yes, it's been long. Yes, the road has been ruthless. But don't let the stretch fool you into forgetting the reason. There is power in your path. There is glory in your grind. And though the enemy would love nothing more than to talk you into quitting now, I am breaking through that fog with this divine announcement. I am not done with you. And neither should you be. What felt like delay was actually me digging deeper. Every no, every closed door, every route, it was never to discourage you. It was to deepen you. And now the depth of your surrender is about to match the weight of your calling. So hear me, child. Rest if you must, but do not retreat. Breathe if you need to, but do not bow out. You've come too far. You've lost too much. You've endured too deeply, and I am too close now to let you quit. My hands are still on you. My wind is still behind you. My eyes are still watching your every move, not as a judge, but as a father who is proud. You are not crawling toward nothing, you are marching toward manifestation. Let that truth be the fire that fuels you. The same fire that brought you this far is the fire that will finish the work. Don't stop now. Don't slow your spirit down to match the fatigue of your flesh. The breakthrough is not ahead of you. It's right under your feet. Keep walking, chosen one, because heaven is already celebrating your decision to keep going. Let me speak to the wound you've never had words for, the deep ache you've learned to function with, the silent question that has haunted the back of your soul. Why did it have to be this hard? I know you didn't say it out loud, but I heard it. You've wondered if the intensity of your pain meant I was displeased. You've looked at the crushing and wondered if you were being punished. But child, listen to me, not as a distant God, but as your father, your defender, your designer. The pressure wasn't punishment. It was preparation. The pain wasn't punishment. It was the press of purpose being squeezed out of your pores. You were never being broken to be buried. You were being crushed to pour. You are my alabaster jar, and I had to press you so the oil could flow. That oil, the one unique to your life, could only be produced through pressure. Not because I'm cruel, but because I'm careful. I knew what was inside you, and I knew what it would take to release it. I protected your anointing with process. You saw pain, I saw pouring. You saw breakdown, I saw breakthrough in disguise. You asked why the weight was so heavy. I answer now with trembling joy, because what you carry is too holy to be released casually. I had to use pressure to purify what couldn't be exposed prematurely. I used the press to crush what was pretending, to burn away the pride, to silence the voices that tried to define you. I used the weight to awaken the warrior and extinguish the warrior. You thought I was crushing you to stop you. And oh, beloved, I was crushing you to consecrate you. There are realms of revelation that can only be accessed through pressing. You were asking me to anoint you, and I said yes. But you didn't realize that oil requires olives to be crushed, and your soul with the olive, and your yes with the press. But now that the pressing has purified your motives and refined your worship, now the oil is ready. And this oil, this fragrant, potent, divine oil, will not only heal others, it will mark you. People will know your pain, but they will feel your power. They won't understand your scars, but they will sense your oil. And when they ask, what's different about you? You'll know. You'll know it came from that season where you thought you were being destroyed, but you were actually being distilled. And now, beloved, now it's time. Time to pour. Time to release. Time to let the oil flow. You didn't get crushed for nothing. You didn't cry for nothing. You didn't endure the silence, the betrayal, the spiritual strangling, just to go back to playing small. The oil is ready, and now I will place you in rooms where the fragrance of your crushing will fill the air and make demons tremble. I will use you as a vessel, not a leaky one, but one so full of purified oil that it drips as you walk, and they will wonder how you carry such weight. But only you and I will know what it costs to carry this kind of anointing. So let's finish this, child. Not because you're strong, but because the oil is ready. And oil doesn't sit, it flows. My child, I know the longing in your heart, the desire to be seen, to be affirmed, to be recognized for the battles you fought in silence. But let me speak this truth directly into the marrow of your identity. You don't need a platform to prove you're chosen. The world chases platforms. Heaven releases purpose. You weren't created to chase stages, microphones, or digital applause. You were carved out of eternity to carry weight, eternal weight. And that weight already speaks louder than the loudest affirmation this world could offer. You don't need the spotlight when you're already lit from within by my fire. You don't need followers when you're followed by favor. And you don't need to be discovered by people when you've already been declared by me. Let's dismantle this together, right here and right now. You are not overlooked. You are concealed, hidden in me for such a time as this. A platform may elevate your visibility, but it can never manufacture your value. Your value was sealed in sacred blood, written in the ink of covenant, and echoed in the halls of heaven. What you carry isn't just a message, it's mantle. Mantles aren't built with microphones. They are forged in midnight intercession. You have been marked by moments no one witnessed, by sacrifices no one thanked you for, by prayers so raw they scraped your soul. And yet, you remained. Not because a stage awaited you, but because my spirit upheld you. The reason you feel heavy, the reason your soul sometimes groans without language, is because you're carrying something others can't see. But I see it. I see the mantle draped across your shoulders like a cloak woven in fire and obedience. I see the evidence of encounters you had with me when everyone else thought you were just quiet or normal. You've been having upper room moments in hidden rooms. You've been building altars in places others overlooked. And because of that, because you chose consecration over clout, because you chose purity over popularity, I have wrapped you in a weight that needs no introduction. It announces itself in the spirit. Demons discern it. Heaven celebrates it. And soon, child, the earth will witness it. So stop mourning the absence of applause. Stop waiting for validation from voices I never assigned to steward your worth. I'm a gregario that for you to bravo. I've gregario for you to pour. And the pouring is coming. It's not about elevation. It's about execution. It's about flowing in the fullness of your calling without the need to prove anything to anyone. You carry weight because you carry me. And now it's time. Not to prove. Not to post. But to pour. Because the weight is ready, and the world is hungrier than they know. And you, my child, are the vessel they didn't see coming. You don't need to pour doors open. You are the door. And when you step into the room, glory will follow. Not because of who you are to them, but because of who I am through you. Finish this, not with a platform, but with presence. Not with a show, but with surrender. Because that weight is your witness. Child, we need to talk about the thief that's been whispering into your soul. Comparison. It's subtle, but it's loud. It creeps in when you scroll, when you watch, when you hear others speak with confidence about where they are and what they've done. And suddenly, your journey starts to feel too slow. Your testimony starts to sound too quiet. But hear me clearly now. Stop comparing your pace to others. The blueprint I've written for you is so customized, so sacred, so meticulously timed, that trying to measure it against someone else's journey is like trying to compare constellations to candles. They don't shine the same. They don't serve the same purpose. What I've written for you doesn't require validation from people who haven't seen the scroll. They don't know what I've etched into the pages of your destiny. They didn't watch you walk through the wilderness when no one held your hand. They didn't sit with you on tear-soaked floors when you chose me over convenience. They don't understand the slow pace of obedience because they weren't called to carry what you carry. The reason your story takes longer is because the foundation is deeper. Skyscrapers require stronger soul. And I'm not building a shack with your life. I'm constructing a sanctuary. It takes time. It takes trimming. It takes trust. I know you've looked at others and wondered, why not me? Why not yet? But you're asking the wrong question. Don't ask me why the pace is slow. Ask me what the pace is shaping. Because every delay hath been divine. Every not yet has been a not without me. I slowed you down to grow you deeper. I held you back to heal you beneath the surface. You wanted quick results. I wanted lasting roots. Because what's coming next for you isn't seasonal. It's generational. And if I let you run too fast, you'd outpace your own preparation. You'd arrive at doors your character wasn't ready to hold open. So I held you in hiddenness, not to harm you, but to hone you. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where eternity placed you. I'm not looking for you to sprint. I'm asking you to synchronize with me, with my heartbeat, with the rhythm of revelation I've written for your life. Stop looking sideways. Look upward. Look inward. That's where your scroll is inscribed. Not in ink, but in spirit. Not for their eyes, but for yours and mine. So rest now. Not in passivity, but in peace. Because your steps are ordered. Your process is purposed. Your journey is prophetic. And I will make all things beautiful, not in someone else's time, but in your own appointed season. So breathe, chosen one. Stay in stride with me, and let them run ahead if they must. Because what you're carrying isn't for the sprint, it's for the legacy. Let me speak directly into the ache that's been quietly growing in your chest, the ache that whispers, maybe it's never going to happen. I've watched you wrestle with the waiting, question the calendar, and wonder why I seem to move so slowly while the world around you races by. You've mistaken my silence for absence, my timing for resistance. But child, hear me clearly now. Like thunder cutting through fog, every delay wasn't denial. It was divine pacing. I was never stalling, I was staging. I was never late, I was layering. Laying brick upon brick, precept upon precept, truth upon truth, so that when it finally happens, it won't just make noise, it will make impact. You asked me to accelerate your destiny, and I answered with alignment. Because you don't need speed, you need stability. I saw what you couldn't. I saw the cracks in the foundation that hadn't yet been healed. I saw the blind spots that would have sabotaged your blessing if I gave it to you too soon. So instead of rushing you to applause, I led you to an altar. And on that altar, I taught you to worship without reward. I taught you to praise in the dark. I taught you to walk when you wanted to run. Because slow growth produces strong roots, and you, my child, are not being built for a moment, you're being built for a movement. You remember the promises I made to you. I haven't forgotten them. I haven't tossed them aside or retracted my word. I've just been waiting for the perfect collision of obedience and opportunity. I could have sent it before, but it would have collapsed under the weight of premature delivery. And I love you too much to give you what you're not ready to carry. So I waited. I waited until your capacity caught up with your calling. I waited until your faith was no longer emotional but anchored. I waited until your vision was no longer driven by need but led by surrender. That's the divine pace I've been moving in, not to frustrate you, but to fortify you. And now you're closer than ever. You can feel it in the shift, in the stillness, in the sense that something is standing just outside the threshold. And I say this to you now. Don't mistake the final stretch as another delay. This is the pause before the unveiling, the breath before the breakthrough, the silence before the sound. Stay faithful. Stay positioned. Stay ready. Because when I move this time, it won't just be for your satisfaction. It will be for my glory. What's coming will carry weight, wonder, and witness. And when people ask, why now? You'll be able to say, because God never works on applause, He works on impact. This is not a delay. This is divine choreography. And the curtain is about to rise. How easily you believe the lie that says you're behind, that you missed something, that others are further, faster, more faithful. But I want you to feel the warmth in my voice now as I say this with unwavering authority. You are not behind. You are on the brink. You are standing at the very edge of the divine timeline I handcrafted just for you. Not 1 second of your life has been wasted. Not one detour caught me by surprise. I factored it all in. The breakdowns, the bruises, the battles. Even the moments you thought were steps backward were actually divine pivots that brought you into alignment with the exact place I always intended for you to stand. You've been walking with your head down, dragging your feet in discouragement, measuring your life against mile markers that were never meant for your journey. But I say to you now, look up, because you are not running out of time. You are running into my plan. I do not operate according to the pressure of human clocks. I do not rush what I'm refining. You thought you were falling behind, but I've been positioning you. You thought you missed it, but I was marinating you. Slow-cooked glory always tastes better than rushed success. And what I've been brewing in you can't be microwaved, it had to be matured. There is a moment, a divine intersection, when preparation meets promise, and you are brushing right up against it now. That ache you've been feeling, that tension in your spirit, that sense that something is about to break. That's not anxiety, that's activation. You are rubbing shoulders with the edge of fulfillment. You are standing at the intersection where prophecy and performance collide. And no, you're not late. You're not lost. You are on time. Right on time. Heaven's time. The enemy tried to convince you otherwise because he knows what happens when you realize the truth. When you finally understand that you're not behind, you're ahead of what would have destroyed you. So stop rehearsing regret. Stop running timelines that don't belong to you. And stop thinking you have to make up for lost time. I am the God who redeems time. I stretch it. I bend it. I fold it to fit my will. And what took others years will happen for you in moments. Because when my hand is on you, the impossible becomes immediate. You are not racing against time. You are moving with me. And where I'm leading you doesn't require you to be early or perfect, just obedient. So take the next step, not with shame but with surety. Because you're not behind, beloved. You're on the brink. The edge is in sight. And what I've prepared on the other side will make every step worth it. And I'll finish what I started in you. Because the hour is not just approaching. It's already upon you. Child, let me reveal a mystery, one that only heaven could have orchestrated, and only your obedience could have unlocked. Every time you said yes when no one was watching, every time you sowed seeds of faith when your own garden looked barren, every time you obeyed me when the outcome was invisible and the sacrifice was heavy, you moved mountains in the unseen. You didn't just follow instructions, you initiated divine transactions. You may not have seen the doors swing wide yet in the natural, but I assure you, they're already open in the spirit. Realms have shifted. Pathways have been cleared. Strategies have been rewritten in heaven because of your surrendered yes on earth. You thought your yes was small. You thought it was unseen, uncelebrated, insignificant. But child, your obedience is the currency of heaven. It's what angels move on. It's what authority flows from. It's what triggers manifestations that your eyes haven't caught up with yet. There are doors, massive, mighty, miracle-laced doors, that have already been commanded to stand open at the sound of your footstep. And though your feet haven't touched them yet, they are already waiting for you. Just because you haven't arrived doesn't mean I haven't arranged. I'm the God who prepares before you even approach. I don't wait for your feet to get there before I start moving. I start moving the moment your heart says yes. And this is the holy tension you feel right now, the weight of movement that hasn't fully materialized. You can feel something shifting. You sense something is stretching. That's not confusion, child. That's confirmation. Your spirit is picking up what your natural life hasn't walked into yet. You're feeling the wind before the door. You're hearing the roar before the rain. It's because obedience echoes. It doesn't end in the moment. It continues to reverberate, gaining momentum, drawing divine response. Your yes has gone ahead of you, like an envoy announcing your arrival. And the doors it opened, doors of favor, doors of healing, doors of sudden acceleration, will not close before you get there. They were timed for your exact stride. So do not panic if your feet feel slow. Do not fear if you don't see the door yet. It's not hidden. It's holy. It only reveals itself at the right pace. Trust me. The walk of obedience doesn't always come with a map, but it always ends with manifestation. And you, my child, are closer than you know. The door is not just open. It is appointed. It is anointed. It is yours. So keep walking, not to prove yourself, but to step into what's already been prepared. Your yes made the way. Your feet will follow. And when you walk through that door, it won't feel like opportunity. It will feel like home. Because it was built by your obedience. You felt the stirring, the pull, the unmistakable fire of destiny igniting inside you. And now I say this to you, child, if you know this word is alive, if it struck the marrow of your soul, then I'm asking you to sow into it. You're not just giving to a message, you're fueling a movement. Every offering becomes oil on the fire, light to those still walking in darkness, manna to the weary wandering in silence. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed, and I, the Lord your God, will multiply what you place in my hands. This is not about donation. It's divine participation. I am raising up messengers, and through your giving, you are part of every life changed. The harvest is real. The soil is holy, and the window is open. Step into it, right now. Use the Super Thanks membership or the PayPal link in the description. Don't wait. Obey. Beloved, this is where many turn back. Why here? Right before the fulfillment. Right at the edge of breakthrough. They get weary. They get wobbly. Warfare intensifies, and they mistake the pressure for a warning instead of a witness. But you're not like them. You survived storms that should have swallowed you. You've endured heartbreaks that tried to harden you. You've climbed mountains with bleeding feet and worshipped in wildernesses that seemed endless. And after all of that, after everything you've endured, you're going to shrink back now. No, child. Not now. Not here. This is not just another step. This is the holy stretch toward the finish. This is the sacred ground where giants rise up louder, not because they are stronger, but because they are threatened. The enemy is not attacking you now because you're weak. He's panicking because you're dangerously close. The pressure is a prophetic indicator that the promise is within reach. That's why the hits have been personal. That's why the fatigue hath been heavier than usual. You're not being punished. You're being proven. And heaven is watching. not waiting to see if you'll collapse, but waiting to crown you for enduring what most wouldn't have survived. You didn't just survive, you surrendered in the survival. You didn't just push through, you praised while pushing. And that posture has drawn my eye. You want to know why the resistance increased? Because the finish line holds glory that your previous seasons couldn't contain. You are walking into an authority that requires refinement. And you've passed every test. So now I need you to do one thing. Don't shrink. Don't downplay what you carry just because others don't understand. Don't make yourself smaller to stay safe. Don't soften your stride to make others comfortable. The version of you that survived deserves to shine. The version of you that kept going deserves to finish. Not with a whimper, but with a war cry. Because this finish isn't just about completing a task. It's about claiming your territory. And yes, child, this part is holy. Finishing is not just about reaching the end. It's about sealing the testimony. It's about leaving no doubt in the spirit realm that you were faithful to the finish. This final stretch will mark you, not just for what you do, but for who you've become. And who you are now is no longer the scared, timid version who questioned if they were chosen. Who you are now is fire-tested, faith-forged, glory-drenched. And heaven calls that holy. So lift your eyes. Square your shoulders. You've already survived what tried to kill you. Now conquer what's trying to stop you. This part, this finish, this final movement in your symphony of surrender. It's holy ground. Walk through it barefoot and bold. You're not just finishing a chapter. You're fulfilling a calling. Child, you've been navigating by whispers. You've moved not with blueprints in hand, but with burning in your heart. I watched you say yes to assignments you didn't fully understand. I saw you move forward when all you had was a flicker in your spirit and my quiet assurance in the dark. You didn't have clarity, you had covenant. And still, you chose to trust. You showed up even when shadows covered your steps. You obeyed even when the outcome felt invisible. You followed my voice when it was barely a whisper. And oh, how heaven has recorded every trembling step. Each one with a declaration of love. Each one was a prophetic strike against fear. Each one was a movement of trust that caused angels to take their positions. But I know what that kind of journey costs. I know what it feels like to walk when your heart cries out for confirmation. I know what it means to carry questions so heavy they nearly buckle your knees. And because I know, because I've walked with you through every step of it, I now make this decree over your spirit. Clarity is coming. The fog is lifting. What was once hidden is about to unfold in glorious revelation. Not just hints. Not just impressions. Verity. Not the kind born from human logic, but the clarity that comes when divine light exposes what's been waiting just on the other side of your obedience. You will begin to see what your spirit has already known. Doors will suddenly make sense. Delays will become obvious in their purpose. What confused you will now confirm you. You'll look back and realize that the detours were protection, the pauses were preparation, and the seemingly silent seasons were actually symphonies of strategy composed in my presence. You're about to witness how all the fragments begin to connect. Every thread, every tear, every prayer, you will see how it was all woven into a garment of glory you are now ready to wear. I wasn't withholding clarity from you to torment you. I was waiting until you were ready to carry the weight of it. And now you are. You've proven faithful without the full picture. You've loved me when you didn't have the map. And for that, I'm entrusting you with divine insight. Not so you can control the outcome, but so you can walk in confidence, fully aligned, fully assured, fully aware. This is not the season of mystery for you anymore. It's the season of manifested meaning. The fog that lingered is breaking under the brilliance of my light. So lift your eyes, my beloved. What was once obscured is being exposed, not to overwhelm you, but to empower you. You didn't need clarity to be faithful. But because you've been faithful, I'm giving you clarity. Now take that revelation and walk forward bold, unshaken, and clear-eyed. Because you're not guessing anymore. You're grasping destiny with vision. My child, you've been quiet for far too long. Not silent in presence, but silent in power. You've carried weight but questioned whether your voice could ever carry the same authority. And I've watched you. Restrained, reverent, almost reluctant. You obeyed. You served. You endured. But now it's time for your voice to rise. Not just in prayer, not just in private moments of surrender, but in holy boldness. Because what I placed inside you is not just to be felt, it's to be spoken. The same fire that has burned silently in your bones is about to roar through your mouth. And no, this is not pride. This is not performance. This is the prophetic sound of someone who has survived the silence and still chosen surrender. Heaven had been waiting for this. For your sound. For your roar. Not one that mimics others. Not one that borrows courage from culture. But one that comes from deep, holy, consecrated combustion. You've been refined by the fire, and now the fire is asking for release. There is authority in you that must be declared. Not hidden. Not tamed. You were never meant to whisper your way through warfare. You were meant to prophesy victory into the very soil that once tried to bury you. You were never meant to tiptoe through the territories I've assigned you to take. You were meant to roar over them. Roar with praise. Roar with truth. Roar with the sound of someone who knows they are chosen. Do you feel it? That stirring and tightening in your chest that isn't fear, it's fire. That's not anxiety. That's activation. That's the Lion of Judah rising in you. It's my spirit pulling your sound to the service. You've been faithful in the waiting. Now be fierce in the speaking. Your voice will shake atmospheres. Your voice will awaken the dormant. Your voice will break cycles because it carries my word wrapped in your story. The testimony that almost killed you is about to become the trumpet that sets others free. The lies you silenced with truth are now weapons in your mouth. And every time you open it in obedience, you will reclaim territory the enemy thought he stole. So roar, child. Don't hold back. Not now. Not here. Not when heaven is leaning in, waiting for your agreement. I've already spoken over you. Now I'm waiting for you to echo it. Let your voice match your calling. Let you confehin match you gamiyu. You're not just chosen, you're charged. And when the sound comes forth, demons will scatter. Chains will fall. Hearts will burn. Because your voice, your yes, your roar, is no longer tied to fear. It's tethered to fire. And fire doesn't ask for permission. It consumes. So open your mouth. The time for silence is over. The season of the roar has arrived. And the earth is about to hear what heaven already knows. You are chosen, and the sound of your finish is fierce. Let's settle this now, child. You don't fit in because you weren't designed to. You felt it your whole life, haven't you? That ache, that restlessness, that invisible pull that keeps tugging you away from the crowd, from comfort, from compromise. You've tried to silence it. You've tried to shrink it. You've tried to explain it away or medicate it with routine. But nothing works. Because that pull isn't a flaw, it's your calling. You weren't crafted to blend. You were branded to blaze a trail. You are not camouflaged by heaven. You are consecrated. And consecration means being called out, set apart, and sent forward with fire in your bones and purpose in your feet. The very places where you feel like an outsider are often the places you've been sent to overturn the atmosphere. Your isolation isn't punishment, it's positioning. Because what you carry is disruptive. Not destructive, but disruptive. You are a holy interruption to generational patterns, to spiritual stagnation, to systems that have existed too long without fresh oil. That's why you can't settle into normal. That's why you can't tolerate lukewarm environments. That's why your spirit flinches when you see injustice and complacency. Because you weren't built for soft echoes. You were born for shaking ground. There's a roar in your walk and a sword in your shadow. And even when you feel like you're stumbling, you're still advancing. And here's what I need you to hear with your spirit. There's territory that only your feet can walk. I've marked places in the earth, physical places, spiritual atmospheres, assignments in the hearts of people that are waiting for the sound of your obedience. Others have tried, but their keys didn't fit. Their pace didn't match. Your oil wasn't aligned, but you were custom made for it. Your wilderness wasn't wasted. Your warfare wasn't for nothing. It was all shaping your stride, because this next ground isn't soft. It's sacred, and it responds to you. When your feet hit it, chains will loosen. When your voice declares over it, strongholds will break. When your spirit shows up, heaven will invade. So stop trying to fade. Stop trying to adjust your frequency to the background noise of culture. I didn't anoint you to blend. I anointed you to break ground. And that breaking might look like disruption to some, but to me, it's called dominion. You are not a guest in this season. You are a gatekeeper. To go. Go where I send you. Say what I tell you. Carry the fire like it was meant to be carried, boldly, unapologetically, beautifully. Because the ground is groaning for the sound of the chosen. And you, my beloved, are not just chosen to finish. You are chosen to establish, to take ground, to mark it with worship, to conquer it in love. And when your feet arrive, the land will know heaven has come with you. Listen closely, child. I see the way you've been holding on, the grit in your teeth, the tears no one else sees, the prayers that have turned from words into groans. And I honor your endurance. I truly do. I see how hard you fought just to stay afloat. But I need you to know this. I didn't call you to survive this season. I called you to overcome it. There's a difference. Survival is clinging. Overcoming is conquering. Survival is getting through. Overcoming is claiming dominion. You were not designed to barely make it. You were crafted to rise from it with spoils in your hands and fire in your lungs. The enemy has tried to make you think that crawling out is a win, but I've destined you to come out crowned. You weren't just supposed to escape the fire. You were meant to emerge forged by it. The weapons formed against you were fierce, yes, but none of them have prospered. Why? Because I've made you into more than a survivor. I've made you into a sign. A living, breathing testimony that my spirit still delivers. That my power still prevails. That my glory still shines in the darkest, hardest, most merciless seasons. What was sent to destroy you will now serve as evidence of my dominion over your destiny. And here's what I want you to understand and hold tightly in your spirit. There are spoils to claim. You don't come through this kind of fire empty-handed. When you walk out of a season this brutal, this sacred, you don't just walk out with breath. You walk out with blessing. There are promises waiting to be picked up. There are inheritances waiting to be unlocked. There are victories waiting to be tasted, not just imagined. Don't crawl out and leave the treasures behind. Don't let the pain convince you that survival was enough. I didn't walk with you through the valley just to see you escape. I walked with you so you could emerge triumphant, so you could possess what I promised. And you must take it, not with arrogance, but with authority. This isn't about ego. It's about evidence. Evidence that you endured, and evidence that I equipped you. So rise, child. Stand in the strength I gave you. Shake off the dust of delay and discouragement, and step forward to claim the spoils. The crown fits. The sword is yours. The ground is ready. You've survived it, but now it's time to overcome. And that overcoming, it's not just about finishing the season. It's about plundering it. Because what you gained in the struggle is going to fuel your next assignment. What the enemy meant for torment is now a tool in your hands. And you, my beloved, are not just crossing a finish line. You're establishing a legacy. Let's finish this not crawling but conquering. Child, can I show you something from my perspective? Something that hell never wanted you to realize. You have broken what bound your bloodline. You're not just walking your own journey, you're closing cycles that have existed for generations. You've been facing storms that didn't originate with you. You've been wrestling giants that wore your grandfather's face, that whispered your mother's fears, that mirrored patterns you said no more to. That's why the warfare has felt so deep, so personal, so suffocating. Because you weren't just fighting for your freedom. You were fighting for legacy. You were tearing down strongholds built over decades, and now the enemy is furious because he knows what this moment means. He knows that if you finish this, if you walk fully in what I've placed upon your life, it won't just affect you. It'll alter everything downstream from you. It'll free children not yet born. It'll heal wounds that were buried in silence. It'll create blueprints of victory for those who come after you. That's why the battle hasn't made sense. That's why the attacks have come when you were least expecting. That's why your body, your mind, your relationships have felt under siege. Because hell identified you as the one who didn't bow, the one who didn't repeat, the one who saw the cycle and chose to break it. You didn't just survive trauma, you refused to transmit it. You've gone through dark nights of the soul that others in your family drowned in. You've confronted thought patterns and spiritual torment that others normalized. You've wept over decisions no one else even knew they had the right to make differently. And I've watched it all. I've seen you stand in the middle of dysfunction and declare, "It stops with me." I've seen you forgive where bitterness was expected. I've seen you choose me when compromise was easier. And now, beloved, the breaking has done its work. You've not just broken patterns, you've birthed promise. And I want you to know, heaven is proud. All of heaven is rejoicing because the cycle has finally met its end. So yes, the warfare was real. The pain was real. The pressure almost unbearable. But the result, eternal. You have reset the rhythm of a generation. And now, what your ancestors cried out for in silence, you are fulfilling in full voice. They saw it from afar, but you are touching it with your hands. This is not just your finish line, it's your family's redemption point. So lift your head, child. You're not walking away from the fight. You're walking out victorious, carrying the keys, carrying the fire, carrying the breakthrough. You are chosen, not just to run, not just to rise, but to end what needed to end and begin what will last for generations to come. Let's revisit something you've misunderstood for far too long. You've believed the lie that calling equals readiness. That in order to be used mightily, you had to be perfect, polished, certain. But that's not how I move, child. That's not how heaven assigns destiny. I don't look for those who are qualifying. I look for those who are available. I didn't choose you because you had all the answers. I chose you because your heart whispered yes, even while your hands trembled. I chose you in your mess. I chose you in your wondering. I chose you in your weakness, because I knew what I would make out of it. I chose you to make you ready. And make no mistake, I have been making you. Quietly, carefully, intentionally, in the hidden places, in the tension, in the stretch you, in the seasons where you thought nothing was happening, everything was happening. I was stripping false identities. I was healing ancient wounds. I was revealing strengths you didn't know were buried beneath survival. I was teaching you to listen when no one else was speaking. I was giving you ears to hear the whisper in the wilderness. And every test, every trial, every crushing moment was not to destroy you. It was to shape you, to make you ready not for popularity, but for purpose. And now, the shift has come. You don't feel it as a surge of adrenaline. You feel it as a sacred stillness. That's readiness. Not hype. Not fear. Not frantic movement. But holy peace. You are not wondering anymore. You're walking. You are not hoping you're called. You know you're chosen. You are not asking to be rescued. You are ready to release. You no longer need to be convinced. You've been consecrated. This is not about arrival. It's about activation. You've passed through the fires. You've endured the pruning. And what remains is pure, potent, and precise. So yes, I made you ready. And now it's time to step into what you were prepared for. This is not a rehearsal. This is not a test run. This is the moment where heaven and earth collide through your obedience. You may not feel loud. You may not feel shiny. But you are ready. You are trusted. You are mantled. And I will walk with you every step, speak through you every word, and war with you every battle. No more delay. No more doubting your development. What I've placed in you is ripe. And it's time. Time to finish. Not as the version of you that started this, but as the refined vessel who knows, I was made ready by the hand of God. Child, sit with me for a moment and let me tear down the lies you've been carrying like bricks in your spirit. You've spent years believing that the wounds, the failures, the regrets, those dark, tangled parts of your story somehow made you less usable, less worthy, less seen. You've whispered it under your breath. If only I had been stronger. If only I hadn't failed there. If only I was more like them. But I want you to hear this from my lips with fire and finality. Those things do not disqualify you. They qualify you. The scars you tried to hide. They are sacred scrolls of survival. The moments you stumbled. They are now altars of grace. I don't hide your past to protect my reputation. I redeem it to reveal my glory. Do you remember Moses, child? A stuttering fugitive turned liberator. Do you remember David, a shepherd boy with stained hands but a heart that chased mine? Do you remember Peter, who denied me but preached with fire just days later? I have always used the broken, the bruised, the battle-worn. Why? Because glory shines brightest through cracked vessels. Your flaws aren't barriers, they're portals, openings through which my light explodes. You keep waiting for me to erase your history, but I'm not going to. I'm going to anoint it. I'm going to take every mess and make it a message. Every mistake and make it a monument to my mercy. every disqualification and turn it into demonstration. And here's the truth that hell doesn't want you to know. Your weakness is where my power lives, not where it visits, not where it occasionally shows up, where it dwells. That very area you feel the most ashamed of, the most insecure about, the most tempted to run from. That's the very place I'm pouring oil. That's where I'll set up camp. That's where testimonies will rise from the ashes. I didn't call you to impress people. I called you to impact them. And nothing transforms hearts like someone who's been through hell but still carries heaven in their eyes. That's you, child. A walking contradiction. A divine paradox. A minted warrior wrapped in worship and wonder. So stop hiding. Stop apologizing for your past. Stop editing your story to sound more acceptable. I want all of it raw, real, and redeemed. Because when I move through it, there will be no doubt that it was me. Not your strength. Not your strategy. Me. That's where the glory lies. That's why I chose you. Not in spite of the things you thought disqualified you, but because of them. They are my canvas. You are my vessel. And what you thought would be your disqualification will now become your divine distinction. This is not your shame. It's your stage. And through it, I will show the world what redemption truly looks like. You've been walking through this season with the scent of smoke on your garments and the echo of unanswered prayers in your chest. You've held the line. You've endured the heat. You didn't run when it got hard. You didn't fold when the fire raged. You didn't abandon your post when it felt like you were the only one standing. And I want you to know, I saw it all. I saw the nights where tears watered your pillow. I saw the moments when silence tried to convince you I wasn't moving. I saw the secret prayers, the kind no one knew about but me. And because you stayed faithful in the fire, I now declare this over your life. Get ready for the flood. You've been carrying weight in the shadows, the mantles that no one applauded, battles that no one knew you were fighting. You've been ministering in silence, pouring out when you yourself were empty, giving when it cost you deeply. And now the time has come, not for you to be refilled, but for you to overflow. This is not a trickle. This is a torrent. I'm about to pour out upon your life in such volume, such velocity, that it will wash away the residue of every dry season. Where there was drought, there will be downpour. Where there was silence, there will be saturation. Where there was wilderness, there will now be wealth. And it won't be quiet. It won't be subtle. It will be unmistakable. People will look at you and know, this is favor. Not favor you earned, but favor that was entrusted. Because I watched you steward the fire, and now I can trust you with the flood. The same hands that carried ashes will now carry abundance. The same mouth that declared truth in obscurity will now speak it with influence. The same feet that walked through shadows will now run on riverbanks of revival. Because what I am pouring out isn't just for you, it's through you. This flood is going to sweep into households, into atmospheres, into bloodlines. It will not stop with you. It will start from you. So lift your eyes, beloved. The clouds are heavy with promise. The heavens are pregnant with the outpouring. The fire tested you. The silence tempered you. But the flood will establish you. This is the release of what you've carried in secret. This is the unveiling of the anointing that's been maturing inside you. This is a flood of fulfillment. And it's not coming someday. It's here. Get ready to receive. Get ready to run. Get ready to release others into it. You've been faithful in the fire, now dance in the downpour. Because what's coming won't just quench your thirst. It will awaken everything around you. You've carried so much in silence, haven't you? There are moments you've wondered if anyone sees, anyone knows, anyone cares about the weight that rests on your shoulders. You've walked into rooms smiling, while your soul was screaming for rest. You've poured into others while secretly feeling empty yourself. And even when you've called out to me, there were times you felt like your words bounced off the ceiling. But let me speak into that lie right now. You've never been alone. Not for a single heartbeat. Not for a single tear. You have never walked a single step without me being closer than your breath. I want you to understand something. Your assignment is great, yes, but so is your assistance. I have assigned angels to walk with you, war for you, and move ahead of you. These aren't symbolic gestures. These are real, divine warriors with swords drawn and eyes locked on your path. They respond not to your perfection, but to your alignment with my voice. When you obey me, they move. When you worship through warfare, they strike. When you speak my word in the midst of resistance, they surround you like flame. And beyond the angels, I have given you my very spirit. Not as an observer, not as a backup plan, but as a resident fire inside of you, alive and active, sustaining you when your own strength fails. And yes, there will be moments when the darkness pushes harder than usual, when the warfare feels more personal, when the enemy sends whispers of isolation to tempt you into hiding. But even then, especially then, I am there. My spirit never leaves. I'm not pacing in heaven wondering if you'll make it. I'm dwelling in your bones, walking with you step by step, word by word, breath by breath. And I haven't just equipped you to endure. I've empowered you to overcome. That fire in your belly when you worship, that unexplainable peace when chaos surrounds you. That's me. It's my presence proving that no matter what surrounds you, you are never alone. So stop walking like you're abandoned. You're not orphaned, you're overseen. You're not fighting solo, you're surrounded. Heaven knows your name. The Spirit knows your battle. The angels know your assignment. And I, the Lord your God, know your capacity, and I've matched it with supernatural reinforcement. You were never meant to finish this alone. And you won't. I've given you a cloud by day, fire by night, and warriors in the unseen who only move at the sound of my command. So take heart, child. You're surrounded, not by fear, but by firepower. And every step forward is a step taken with me. You wept. You warred. You've watched me speak directly to the pages of your soul. And now, I give you this invitation. Let your seed match the word you just received. This is not charity, it's covenant. When you give into fertile ground, you step into supernatural flow. You become the answer to someone else's cry for hope, truth, and transformation. Give, and it shall be given to you, not in theory, but in power. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. You've been faithful in the fire, now sow into the flood. Be the river that carries this message beyond borders and barriers. I see your heart, and I see your gift. Now let me bless it with overflow. Click the super thanks. Join the membership. Send your offering through PayPal. This is more than giving. This is finishing well. Pause for a moment and let me remind you of something bigger than your current view. This isn't just about you. What you're doing right now, in this hidden obedience, in this uncelebrated faithfulness, in this invisible plowing of the field, it's not just about your lifetime. It's about generations you will never meet. It's about legacy, and not the kind that's built with plaques or platforms. I'm talking about spiritual inheritance, eternal footprints. In a memo, You're setting something in motion now that will keep running long after your earthly race is complete. This is legacy built in obedience, not applause. You think you're just showing up to your assignment, but heaven sees you laying foundation. Every time you pray when you feel nothing, every time you sow when you're still waiting for harvest, every time you choose holiness over compromise, you are building something that will not be shaken. This isn't about short-term gratification. This is about generational transfer. You are writing a script of what is possible when someone says yes to God completely. And even if others don't see it now, the ones who come after you will walk in what you're preparing. They will inherit battles you already won. I will drink from wells you dug in tears. They will run through doors you opened through prayer. Think about it. No Will just building a bow. He was building safety for generations. Esther wasn't just stepping into the palace. She was setting a precedent for deliverance. Paul wasn't just writing letters. He was laying a theological foundation that's still changing lives. You are doing the same. You're not just trying to make it through. You're paving a way. Every act of faith is a brick in a road that someone else will follow. Every spiritual breakthrough becomes a benchmark for someone else's journey. What feels mundane to you now will become monuments for those coming behind you. So don't despise the days of small faithfulness. Don't dismiss your now because it doesn't look massive. Legacy doesn't begin with a crowd. It begins with a consecrated yes. And you've given me that yes over and over again. And I'm telling you now, I will multiply what you've built in tears. I will water with increase. What you've constructed in prayer, I will crown with fruit. Because when my children build with me, nothing is ever wasted. Not time, not obedience, not pain. So keep building, keep pressing, keep planting. Your name may not be written in headlines, but it is carved into generational blueprints. You're not just finishing a season, you're starting a legacy, one that will echo through eternity. I saw you in the quiet places, in the hidden corners, in the lonely midnight hours when words failed you and all you could offer me was a tear. You didn't even know what you were crying for. Sometimes sorrow, sometimes joy, sometimes just the weight of being faithful when it would have been easier to run. But I saw every drop. I counted them. I cradled them. And child, I need you to know, not one tear was wasted. Not one rolled down your cheek unnoticed. I collected them in heaven's chamber, stored them as a sacred offering. Because what others call weakness, I call worship. You may think tears are just the overflow of emotion, but in my kingdom, they are currency. You wept in obedience, and I turned it into oil. You cried in confusion, and I turned it into clarity. You sobbed in surrender, and I turned it into strategy. Those weren't just emotional moments. They were spiritual milestones. Your tears have irrigated the soil of your destiny. And now, I say to you with holy fire, breakthrough is coming. Not as a distant promise, but as a rising flood. The rivers are forming. The waters are moving. What was once barren is about to bloom because your tears, your very tears, watered the ground. And this is the beauty of your story. What felt like weakness was actually warfare. You warred in worship. You battled in brokenness. You never saw the harvest forming beneath your weeping, but I did. Every tear became a seed. Every cry became a declaration. And now, the river that's coming is not just for you. It will touch your family. It will heal your history. It will wash over every dry place that told you God forgot. Because I didn't forget. I remember every sob, every gasp, every moment you said, God, I don't understand. but I still trust you. That trust shook the heavens. That trust moved mountains. That trust is why the breakthrough has been commanded to flow. So when the river comes, and it will, don't be surprised. Don't resist it. Don't second guess if you're worthy to receive it. You are. Not because of performance, but because of perseverance. You wept your way into this moment. You wept when no one was watching. And now, I'm pouring out a reward that no one will be able to deny. The tears that fell in silence are now rising as songs of victory. Get ready to dance in the river you wept into existence. Get ready to drink from the flood that your pain unlocked. Because in my kingdom, every tear has a purpose, and your rivers are about to roar. Come close now, closer. I want to whisper something to your spirit that will shatter the lie of insignificance once and for all. You are the answer to someone's prayer. Do you hear me? You. Right now. Not a future version of you. Not a more polished or perfect version. Be you I've been refining in fire, shaping in hiddenness, molding in mercy. That version of you, you are the answer. Someone, somewhere, cried out for help, and I began preparing you. That's why the fire has felt personal. That's why the pruning cut so deep. That's why I didn't let you get away with what others could. Because I wasn't punishing you, I was positioning you. I've been preparing a vessel that could carry not just the word, but the weight of anointing required to break chains. You don't even realize it, but every trial you've endured has put an answer in your mouth. Every scar you bear has been infused with compassion. Every waiting room you sat in has trained your heart for divine timing. And now, I'm about to send you, not just into a room, but into someone's life. They've been praying, weeping, searching, and the answer isn't wrapped in a sermon or a slogan. It's wrapped in your obedience. I designed you with precision for this moment. You are their breakthrough in flesh. A reminder that I hear. Your evidence that I still send help in human form. You don't need a title for this. You don't need a stage. You don't need a microphone. All you need is your yes, and the fire I already placed in you. Because when you walk into that assignment, it won't be about performance. It will be presence. My presence, through you. So hear me now, child. You were refined to be released. Not delayed. Not sidelined. Not overlooked. Released. And the impact won't always be visible, but it will be eternal. One conversation will shift destiny. One moment of obedience will realign a broken life. One simple act of showing up in love will reverberate across bloodlines. You're not just chosen to finish, you're chosen to fulfill. And in this next stretch, I'm sending you as an answer. To rooms that prayed for deliverance. To hearts that pleaded for hope. To souls that asked, does God still see me? And when you show up, the answer will be undeniable. Yes. He sees. And he sent you. You felt it, haven't you? That relentless pressure. The drip, drip, drip of opposition designed not to destroy you all at once, but to exhaust you little by little. It wasn't a sudden storm. It was a prolonged drought. A fatigue that didn't scream, but whispered, give up. The enemy didn't come at you with blazing swords. He came with weariness, with heaviness, with silence so on it felt like a weight pressing down on your chest. And yet you didn't bow. You didn't break. You didn't burst. You remained. You stood. And that standing, child, that standing has shaken the gates of hell more than any shout ever could. Because when the enemy couldn't seduce you with sin, he tried to crush you with exhaustion. He thought he could wear you down with delays, distractions, and doubts. He thought that if he couldn't scare you, he could slow you. That if he couldn't stop you with fear, he could paralyze you with fatigue. But what he failed to realize is this: you are rooted. And not in ambition, not in applause, and not in ego, but in me. Your roots have been reaching deeper every time you kept going without answers. Every time you prayed through the fog. Every time you worshipped while weary. Every time you clung to hope when you didn't feel hope, you were sinking deeper into me. And now, you are immovable. What the enemy tried to use to erode your strength has now revealed your endurance. His tactics exposed your tenacity. He underestimated the strength of a soul rooted in grace. Because it's one thing to start strong. It's another thing to endure silently, faithfully, relentlessly. And that's what you've done. You've become a pillar. You've become a tree planted by streams of living water. Storms came, but your leaves didn't wither. Winds blew, but your trunk didn't bend. People left, but your roots reached deeper. And now, because you refuse to uproot, you're about to see fruit in full bloom. This fruit isn't shallow. It isn't seasonal. It's sacred. It's survival turned into sweetness. So hear me clearly, beloved. The enemy's plan has failed. All he did was prove how deeply you belong to me. He revealed the strength you didn't even know you had. He uncovered the depth of your faith, the reach of your roots, the power of your perseverance. And now, I'm about to reward your resistance. Not with just a moment of joy, but with a movement of overflow. You stayed planted. You stayed positioned. And now the season is shifting. The rain is coming. And what was once pressed down by pressure is about to rise with power. Because what's rooted in me can't be ruined by the enemy. And you, my beloved, are about to rise like never before. Let me say it plainly. This is not just the end of warfare. It is the birthing of authority. You didn't just walk through fire to say you survived. You walked through it to be transformed. To come out with the kind of authority that can't be taught in classrooms or manufactured in conference rooms. The kind of authority that comes only from encounter. From crying. From crawling your way through spiritual trenches with bloodied knees and a burning heart. You haven't just endured, you've been entrusted. And what's coming next is not just relief, it's rulership. Yes, rulership. Because when you finish this, and you will carry a mantle. Not one handed to you by man, but one forged in the fire of perseverance and sealed with the oil of heaven. You're stepping into a new level of spiritual command, a new realm of influence, a deeper authority that doesn't raise its voice, it moves atmospheres. You'll speak, and demons will scatter, not because you shouted louder, but because you suffered well. You'll walk into rooms and shifts will occur, not because of who you networked with, but because of who you never let go of. The enemy tried to strip you of identity, but all he did was sharpen your discernment. You now know the weight of silence, the sting of delay, the cost of obedience, and because of that, you're dangerous. Dangerous to darkness. Dangerous to deception. You don't need to be seen to be significant. You don't need to be praised to carry power. You don't need a platform. You are a portal. And everywhere you go, heaven goes with you. This isn't theory. This is identity. You were made not just to overcome, but to occupy. You've been surviving long enough. Now it's time to step into authority. So walk like one who has been through the fire and come out as gold. Speak like one who hath been with God in the furnace and heard heaven whisper your name. Act like one who knows their royalty didn't come from a crown, but from a cross. This is your moment, not to recover, but to reign. You are not the same person who started this. You are stronger. wizened, anointed, appointed. And now, I release you, not just to finish this season, but to rule in the next. For the same God who walked with you in the valley is now calling you to govern from the mountaintop. Finish it, not crawling but crowned. Child, take a breath. Not the shallow breath of survival, but the deep inhale of destiny. Breathe in the reality that this, right here, right now, is your appointed moment. This is not random. This is not delayed. This is not an afterthought. This is orchestration. Divine alignment meeting divine assignment. You are not late. You are not off track. You are exactly where I intended you to be. Every twist in your story, every detour, every pause that felt like punishment, it was preparation. What looked like lost time was actually me protecting you from arriving prematurely. You weren't being overlooked. You were being overhauled. Let me say this plainly. You're right on time. Not 1 second behind schedule. I am the Alpha and the Omega, not just in eternity, but in your journey. I've held your timeline in my hand like a symphony conductor holding the baton. And I'm telling you now, the music is swelling. The rhythm is rising. The moment you waited for, waited for it, it's here. The page is turning, not just to another chapter, but to the fulfillment of what was written before time began. The finish line is not the end, it's the entrance. And everything up to this point has been getting you ready to walk fully in what I authored about you in Heaven's book. You are not stepping into this season uncertain. You are stepping in unleashed. You are not hoping it works out. You are moving in the fullness of what's already been spoken. I declared it before your breath entered earth. I sealed it before your struggles ever surfaced. And now, as you rise to finish what seemed impossible, you are fulfilling prophetic history. You are not chasing dreams, you're catching destiny. You are not stumbling through doors, you're stepping into scrolls. The ink of heaven has already written this moment. You're just walking it out in real time. So rise, my child. Rise not with hesitation, but with holy fire. You are chosen. You are equipped. You are sent. And you are on time. The delay didn't disqualify you. It defined you. The waiting didn't weaken you, it woke you. The pain didn't punish you, it positioned you. And now, with all of heaven watching, with a cloud of witnesses cheering, with my spirit blazing within you, it's time. Time to finish. Time to rise. Time to run not from the call but into it with every fiber of your being. Because I, the Lord your God, have already written the victory. And now, I place the pen in your hand. Go. Finish. Fulfill. It's already done. Now that you've heard my voice and felt my commissioning, don't just walk away, respond. This moment is holy ground. You've been chosen, refined, anointed, and now released. And just as I have called you to rise and finish what I began in you, I now call you to fuel this word for others. Your support is more than financial, it's prophetic alignment. Those who sow with tears will reap with psalms of joy, and your seed will echo across souls you will never meet but will one day see in glory. This is legacy. This is kingdom. This is fire. Be the one who says, "Yes, Lord. Not only will I finish, but I will help others start." Give now. You super thanks, membership or the PayPal link. The mantle is in motion. Don't hesitate, obey with fire. Before you go, pause and seal this moment. If you know in your spirit that this word was for you, that you are chosen, and it is time to finish this, then declare it boldly in the comments. I was born for this. I will finish strong. Don't scroll past your own prophecy. Let heaven and hell both see that you've recognized the shift. Write it not just as a comment, but as a covenant. Because today isn't just another message, it's your divine commissioning. And I, the Lord your God, am standing over every word to perform it. Heaven has heard you, yes. Now let your heart hear mine. Come closer. There's something I need to tell you. My child, come closer. Quiet your heart for just a moment. Let the noise of your day, the deadlines, the demands, the worries about tomorrow, let it all fade into the background. I want to speak with you, right here, right now. Before any of this existed, before the foundations of the world were even a thought in eternity, I knew your name. I spoke it into the silence, not as a whisper, but as a declaration of love. You are not a random thought, an accident, or an afterthought. Your life is a divine appointment, a meeting set between you and me before time itself had a beginning. I see you, my beloved. I see you sitting there with that knot of anxiety in your stomach, wondering if you are enough, wondering if you are making the right decisions. You look at your life, at the pressures of your job, the unspoken tensions in your family, the feeling of being overlooked, and you think it is all just a series of disconnected struggles. You fight so hard just to keep your head above water. But that is not the truth I have for you. The truth is, every moment has been leading you here, to this conversation. That deep, persistent pull you feel in your soul, the one you dismiss as daydreaming or wishful thinking, that is an echo. It is the faint but constant resonance of a conversation we had in eternity, a promise I placed within you. It is the whisper that rises in the quiet of the night, asking, is this all there is? It is that sudden ache in your heart for a purpose greater than just paying bills and surviving until the weekend. That is my voice, calling you to remember who you are. You were separated for my glory from your mother's womb. From your very first heartbeat, you were marked, set apart not for an ordinary life, but for a divine destiny. This is why you have always felt a little different, isn't it? As if you were marching to the rhythm of a drum no one else could hear. You were hearing my heart. So listen to me now. I need you to let this truth sink deeper than all the doubts and fears that have held you captive. Do not doubt this calling. Do not dismiss it as emotion. It is more real than the air you are breathing, more solid than the chair you are sitting in. Place your hand on your chest. Do you feel that? That steady beat? That is the rhythm of purpose I have placed within you. It is the sound of your divine appointment drawing near. Breathe it in, my child. Accept it. Your real journey, the one you were truly created for, is about to begin. It is time to finish what we started in eternity. My child, I see the question in your eyes. You hear me say you are chosen, and a part of you believes it, but another part immediately looks in the mirror and begins to list the reasons why it cannot be true. You see your flaws, your weaknesses, the moments you have failed. You see the success of others, their seemingly perfect lives, their confident faith, and you whisper, why me? I am not strong enough, not wise enough, not good enough. Listen to my heart. I did not choose you based on your strength. If I had, the glory would be yours, not mine. I searched for something else entirely. I was looking for a heart that was willing, a spirit that was teachable, a soul that knew it was thirsty and would come to me to drink. I saw in you a space that I could fill, a weakness that my power could perfect. I chose you precisely because you cannot do this alone, so that when the victory comes, there will be no doubt that it was my hand that brought it to pass. My choosing is not for exclusion. It is not to make you feel superior to others. It is for a specific, glorious purpose. Think of yourself as a simple clay vessel. The vessel does not boast of its own beauty or strength. Its entire value is found in what it is chosen to carry. You, my beloved, are a vessel I have chosen to carry my light. I need you to carry my presence into places where darkness has settled like dust, into the strained silence at your family's dinner table, into the quiet desperation of a coworker's heart, into the halls of your workplace where integrity is fading. You are my strategy. You are my hands and my feet. This is why I chose you. Your selection is not a trophy you earned through your own merit. It is a staggering testament to my grace. It is a gift. So I want you to stop striving to be worthy of it. You cannot earn a gift. Let go of the crushing weight of performance. Breathe out the fear of disqualifying yourself. Your only task is to embrace the honor and the immense responsibility that comes with being my chosen one. It is a high calling, and it will ask much of you. But know this: the one who calls you is faithful, and I will equip you for everything I have asked you to do. Now, let's talk about the foundation you are standing on. You feel the ground shake sometimes, don't you? You see the news. You get the unexpected bill. You hear the doctor's report, and your heart trembles with fear. You feel vulnerable, exposed. That is because you are looking at the shifting sands of this world. I want you to look at something else. Look at the unbreakable covenant I have made with you. This is not a casual promise, like the ones people make and break. This is a covenant, the most sacred and binding agreement in the universe, and it was sealed with the most precious thing I could give, the very blood of my Son. Every promise I have ever spoken to you, for your protection, your provision, your peace, your future, finds its ultimate guarantee in that sacrifice. When you ask if I will be with you, the answer is a resounding yes and amen because of that covenant. When you wonder if I can bring you through this, the answer is sealed in blood. So when fear knocks on your door in the middle of the night, when the voice of lack whispers that you will not make it, I want you to remember this covenant. I am your shield. Imagine that. I, the creator of all things, am standing in front of you, taking the arrows meant for you. I am your rock, the unmovable, unshakable foundation when everything around you is crumbling. I am your fortress, the high tower you can run into and be safe. I will never, ever forsake you. The inheritance I am holding for you is not like the things of this world that rust, fade, or can be stolen. Your inheritance is incorruptible and undefiled. It is a profound peace that money cannot buy, a supernatural strength that circumstances cannot diminish, a deep and abiding joy that sorrow cannot steal. So I command you today, walk not in fear. Walk in the full assurance of my covenant love. This journey is not when you walk alone, hoping I will show up. No, my covenant walks with you. It is your guarantee, your protection, and your eternal promise. My precious child, we cannot move forward if you are still trying to carry the weight of yesterday. I see you. You are trying to step into the new thing I am doing, but you are still wearing the filthy, heavy garments of your past. That coat is heavy with regret, isn't it? It is stained with shame and reeking of failures that I have already forgiven. They do not fit you anymore. The old life has passed away. Look at me. Behold, I am doing a new thing in you, right now. But you cannot carry the burdens of your old life into the victory of your new one. It is time to let them go. I want you to do this with me, right now. That mistake you keep replaying in your mind, the one that makes your stomach clench with shame. Bring it to me. That relationship that ended in pain and left you feeling worthless. Bring it to me. That season of your life when you were lost and you did things you wish you could erase. Lay it all down at my feet. Give it to me, and I'll watch what I do with it. I cast it into the sea of my forgetfulness, and I remember it no more. And in its place, I am clothing you in righteousness. I am wrapping you in a garment of pure, unblemished white. When I look at you, I no longer see the stains of your past. I see the perfect sacrifice of my Son. This is who you are now. Let my forgiveness wash over you, cleansing every hidden corner of your heart. Let it heal the wounds you thought would never close. The enemy, the accuser, has no claim on your past. He loves to whisper your old sins to you because he wants to keep you trapped in a prison I have already unlocked. Do not give him a foothold in your present. When he reminds you of your past, you remind him of his future. Your past is redeemed. Your slate is clean. Your new life has begun. Walk out of that old tomb of regret and step into the sunlight of my grace. Your future is as bright as my promises. I know you have been in the fire, my child. I have heard your cries. You have pleaded with me to take the pressure off, to quench the flames, to deliver you from the heat of the trial. Your heart has asked, why is this happening to me? Why is it so hard? You look at the fire and you see destruction. I look at the fire and I see my forge. Do not despise this season of intense heat, for it is here that I am purifying you. Every trial is a specific tool in my hand, chosen with purpose, designed to shape you into a warrior for my kingdom. This is not punishment. This is preparation. A frustrating situation that is testing your patience to its limits. I am using it to forge in you the endurance to wait for my perfect timing. A difficult person who continually misunderstands you. I am using them to sculpt in you a heart of unconditional love and forgiveness. That financial pressure that makes you feel weak and helpless. I am using it to build in you an unshakable reliance on me as your source. I am developing in you a resilience that this world cannot break. I am building spiritual muscles within you, the muscles of patience, endurance, and unwavering faith. Your character is the very foundation upon which I will build your destiny. A weak foundation cannot support the weight of the glory I have planned for you. So I allow the shaking, I allow the heat, I allow the pressure, because I am making you strong. You are so afraid of being burned, but I am the master of the forge. I have my hand on the temperature. I will not let it become too hot, and I will not leave you in it for a moment too long. You feel the heat, but I am right there in the fire with you. And I promise you this, you will emerge from this forging not burned, but brilliant. Not consumed, but radiant. The fire will burn away the impurities, the doubt, the fear, and the pride, and what remains will be a pure reflection of my strength. You will shine. My child, do not turn away. I have just shown you my hand in your fire. To stop listening now would tell my heart that my presence in your trial is not enough. Please do not grieve me by choosing to believe you are alone in this. Stay, for I must now tell you of the unbreakable promise that seals your victory. Breathe deeply, my child. Can you feel it? There is a shift taking place. The season you have been in, the season of forging and preparation, is coming to an end. A new season is beginning. The anointing you have carried until now was for the journey, for the training, for your own survival and growth. But now, I am pouring out a fresh anointing upon you, and it is for the task that lies ahead. Listen closely, this is important. This is not the anointing for the beginning of the race. This is the oil for its completion. It carries a new weight, a new potency, a new authority. This is the finisher's anointing, and I am releasing it upon you right now as you listen to my voice. You will begin to feel it. A new authority will rise up in your spirit. A new power will infuse your words. Where you once felt timid, you will now feel a holy boldness. Where you once spoke with uncertainty, you will now declare my truth with heaven-backed confidence. This is the anointing that breaks the yokes. The yokes of bondage that have held you captive will shatter. The yokes that have imprisoned your family in cycles of dysfunction will be destroyed. As you walk into rooms, your very presence will release my power, shifting atmospheres and setting other captives free. This is a mantle of power, yes, but it is also a mantle of wisdom and discernment for this final leg of your journey. I will give you eyes to see the enemy's plans and ears to hear my strategy with perfect clarity. This is not something you can earn or strive for. It is a sovereign gift for this appointed time. So I invite you now. Stop analyzing and start receiving. Open your heart. Open your spiritual hands. I am pouring the oil now. Let it soak into your spirit, strengthen your resolve, and empower you for what comes next. The time for its use is not in the distant future. It is now. The time to finish is at hand. My child, for too long you have allowed the world to tell you who you are. It has given you so many labels, and you have worn them like a heavy, ill-fitting coat. The voices of your past, the opinions of others, even your own inner critic have defined you. They have called you not smart enough, too emotional, unreliable, a failure. Your job title has tried to define your worth. Your bank account has tried to define your security. Your past mistakes have tried to define your future. And you have believed them, haven't you? You have looked at your reflection and seen what they see. But today, that ends. I am here to tear off those false labels and tell you who you really are. You are not who they say you are, you are who they say you are. Listen to me. These are the names I call you. First, you are my beloved child. This is not just a sweet sentiment. It is your legal standing in the universe. It means you belong to me. You are part of my family. Your worth is not up for debate. It was settled on a cross. Stop trying to earn a love that I give to you freely. You are my child, which means my resources are your resources, my strength is your strength, and my home is your home. Next, I call you a royal priest. This isn't about ancient robes or religious rituals. It means you have been given direct, unfiltered access to my presence. You don't need an intermediary. You can come to me at any time, in any place, and you have the authority to represent me to a world that is lost and hurting. Finally, I call you a holy heir. You have an inheritance waiting for you, a treasure that is eternal. But it also means you have an inheritance now, an inheritance of my peace, my joy, and my power to live this life in victory. Let this identity be the anchor for your soul in the violent storms of this life. When a storm of criticism comes against you, you will not be capsized, because your anchor is your identity as my beloved, not the opinions of others. When a storm of failure threatens to sink you, you will hold fast, because your worth is found in your adoption, not your accomplishments. I command you to walk as the king and priest I have called you to be. This is not arrogance. It is the humble acceptance of my truth. The powerful revelation of your true identity is your greatest weapon against the insidious lies of the enemy. The next time he whispers that you are worthless, I want you to stand up and declare out loud, "No, I'm a child of the living God. I am a royal priest. I am a holy heir, and my Father loves me." In that declaration, you will feel the chains of shame and inadequacy fall away. This is your freedom. This is who you are. Your world is so loud, my child. From the moment you wake up, the noise begins. Your phone buzzes with notifications. The news shouts with fear and division. and 100 different voices from your past and present tell you what you should do, who you should be, and why you are failing. It is a constant storm of information and opinion. And I know that in the middle of all that chaos, you are desperately trying to hear me. You ask, is this you, Lord? Or is it just my own thoughts? Is this your leading, or is it my fear talking? You long for clarity, for that undeniable certainty that you are on the right path. I tell you the truth. My sheep know my voice, and a stranger they will not follow. This is not a special skill reserved for a select few. It is the birthright of every one of my children, including you. It is a matter of relationship. You recognize the voice of someone you love in a crowded, noisy room because you have spent time with them, learning their tone, their inflections, their heart. It is the same with me. To hear my voice with clarity, you must intentionally tune out the noise of the world. I am speaking to you now in a still, small voice. It is not the shouting of the earthquake or the roar of the fire. It is a gentle whisper that can only be heard in the quiet. I command you to practice stillness. Carve out moments in your day to simply be silent before me. This is not empty time. It is the most productive time you will ever spend. Turn off the television, put down your phone, and just sit in my presence. It is in the sacred quiet that I reveal my secrets and give my clearest direction. Next, you must immerse yourself in my word. You cannot recognize my voice if you are not intimately familiar with what I have already said. My word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. It calibrates your spirit to my frequency. The more you saturate your mind with my written word, the more you will recognize my spoken word when it comes. And I will not leave you guessing. I will confirm my word to you. I will speak through wise counsel, through divinely orchestrated circumstances, and through signs and wonders. But above all, trust the peace I give you as the ultimate confirmation. My leading, even into a difficult battle, is always accompanied by an unexplainable, supernatural peace in your spirit. If a decision is creating a storm of anxiety and confusion within you, pause. That is not my voice. My voice stills the waters. My voice brings clarity. Listen. I am speaking. You must understand, you are stepping into a battlefield, not a playground. The final leg of this race is through enemy territory. But hear my heart. I have not left you defenseless. I have not sent you into this fight unprepared. I have provided for you a divine set of armor, forged in heaven, powerful enough to withstand every single assault the enemy can devise. It is your responsibility to put it on and to keep it on. Stand firm, my warrior. First, you must gird your waist with my truth. The enemy's primary weapon is deception. He will whisper half-truths and outright lies to confuse you and throw you off balance. The belt of truth is what holds everything else together. It is an unwavering commitment to what I have declared is true, regardless of what you see or feel. It is the core reality that I am good, my word is final, and you are who I say you are. Wrap this truth around you tightly. Next, you must wear the breastplate of righteousness. This is what guards your heart, your emotions, your self-worth, your very core, from the enemy's accusations. He will try to strike you with shame from your past, with feelings of inadequacy, with the wounds of rejection. But this breastplate is not forged from your own good deeds. You could never make it strong enough. It is the perfect, unblemished righteousness of my Son, given to you as a gift. When the accuser points his finger at you, he does not see your sin. He sees the perfection of Jesus covering you. Then, you must prepare your feet with the gospel of peace. In this battle, you will need to stand your ground, and you will need to advance into enemy territory. These shoes give you the supernatural stability of my peace, allowing you to stand firm without slipping when the ground beneath you trembles. They also make you ready to carry my message of peace to others. Take up the shield of faith. This is your active defense. The enemy will launch flaming arrows directly at you. Thoughts of doubt, arrows of fear, fiery darts of temptation and despair. Your faith is not a passive hope. It is a shield you actively lift to intercept and extinguish every single one of those arrows before they can touch your heart. Finally, you must learn to wield the sword of the Spirit. This is your only offensive weapon. This is my living, active word. When the enemy attacks with lies, you do not simply hide behind your shield. You counterattack. You open your mouth and you speak my scripture out loud. My word has the power to silence the enemy and send him fleeing. This armor is real, my child. Put it on. Every piece. The victory depends on it. My beloved, I need you to understand the nature of time as I see it. You experience time as a linear progression, a constant ticking of the clock. You call this chronos. It is the time of schedules, of waiting, of growing older. But there is another kind of time. It is my time. It is Kairos. A Kairos moment is a strategic, appointed time when I tear open the heavens and my reality intersects with your reality. It is a divine window of opportunity, a moment pregnant with supernatural potential, where what was impossible in Chronos' time becomes possible in mine. It is a moment where a door that has been sealed shut for years suddenly swings wide open. And I am speaking to your spirit with all the authority of heaven right now. This is a Kairos moment for you. The season has shifted. The long winter of your preparation is over, and the spring of your purpose is here. Can you feel the change in the air? Can you sense the urgency in your spirit? That is me. For so long you have been in training. All those years of waiting, all those painful trials, all the prayers you thought went unanswered, all the tears you cried in secret, none of it was a waste. Do you understand? That was your preparation. That was me forging your character, deepening your faith, getting you ready. But the preparation phase is now complete. The time for study and theory is over. The time for implementation has arrived. Now is the time for action. Because of this, I must warn you with a father's love. Do not delay. Do not procrastinate. Do not let the fear of failure paralyze you now. The enemy will try to distract you, to make you second-guess what you are hearing, to convince you to wait for a better time. There is no better time. The window of opportunity is open now. The specific grace to accomplish this next assignment is available to you now. All of your training, all your trials, all your tears have led you to this precise moment in your history. It is the culmination of everything you have walked through. I have brought you to the threshold of your promised land. Step into it. Step into this Kairos moment with all the boldness and faith you can muster. Do not look back. Your destiny is calling. I am with you. I have just declared your Kairos, your appointed time. Heaven has shifted for you. To close your heart to my voice now would be to willingly walk past the very door I have opened. It would grieve my spirit to see you turn from the threshold of your destiny. Stay with me, I must give you the divine strategy for this moment. As you stand in this Kairos moment, I have given you a divine opportunity not just to receive, but to release my word to the ends of the earth. If your heart burns to act in this appointed time, know that I am inviting you to sow a seed into this fertile ground. Your gift becomes a carrier of my voice, a holy fire that will awaken other chosen souls who are still asleep, unaware that their own appointed time has come. You are not just giving a gift, You are opening a channel for my river of life to flow to the spiritually parched. And because you have responded, I now declare over you what is written: give, and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over. I will command a blessing upon your storehouses and rebuke the devourer for your sake from this day forward. This is your divine appointment to partner with me in the great harvest. Sow your seed of faith now through super thanks membership, or the link below, and watch as I multiply it beyond your imagination. As you step into this Kairos moment, you must rely on a different kind of wisdom. The strategies you learned from the world, the logic of business schools, the common sense of human reasoning, they will not be sufficient for this final push. In fact, they may become a hindrance. You must understand that my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. The world's wisdom will tell you to amass power, to protect your resources, to promote yourself. My wisdom may tell you to lay down your power, to give away your resources, to humble yourself. Do not lean on your own understanding. The challenges ahead cannot be solved with human intellect. They must be overcome with divine strategy, and I am your commander-in-chief. I will give you the battle plan. You are not left to figure this out on your own. I will give you divine strategies that will confound the wise of this world. My plans will often seem foolish, even counterintuitive. I once told a man named Gideon to defeat an enormous army by reducing his own forces to a mere 300 men armed with trumpets and clay jars. To the world, it was a suicide mission. In my kingdom, it was the strategy for a glorious victory. I told the Israelites to conquer the impenetrable city of Jericho by marching around it in silence for 6 days, and then shouting on the seventh. It defied all military logic, but it brought the walls crashing down. Be prepared for me to give you instructions that do not make sense to your logical mind. Your role is not to understand the entire strategy. Your role is to obey the immediate instruction. Listen for my specific, clear, and timely commands. They will come as a gentle nudge in your spirit, a recurring thought you cannot shake, a verse of scripture that leaps out at you. And your obedience in the small things is what qualifies you for the grand strategy. When I nudge you to forgive that person who hurt you deeply, to give that specific amount of money when you feel you cannot afford it, to speak a word of truth in a compromising situation, that is your training. That small act of obedience positions you to receive the next part of the plan. As you walk in this moment-by-moment obedience, I will give you supernatural insight. I will begin to reveal the enemy's plans to you before he can execute them. You will move with a confidence and precision that will baffle those around you, because you will not be operating on human intelligence, but on divine revelation. Trust me. I will show you the way. My child, to finish the race I have set before you, you must run unhindered. Imagine a runner trying to compete in a marathon while dragging a heavy anchor. Every step is a struggle, every breath is labored, and the finish line seems impossibly far. This is what certain relationships and alignments are doing to your spirit. They are draining your strength, compromising your focus, and slowing your pace. You cannot cross the finish line carrying this dead weight. Therefore, I am calling you now to a difficult but necessary task. You must examine every alignment in your life. Hold each relationship up to the light of my word and my presence and ask, does this pull me closer to God, or does it pull me away? Does this empower my calling, or does it compromise it? This requires a brutal honesty that may be uncomfortable for you. I am not just speaking of obviously sinful relationships. I am speaking of those subtle ties that seem harmless on the surface but are chaining you to a lesser life. That friendship that constantly immerses you in a world of gossip, cynicism, and negativity. It is an anchor. that business partnership that requires you to bend your integrity, even slightly, to get ahead. It is an anchor. Even a family tie that demands you honor their expectations above my explicit commands is a yoke that you are not meant to bear. The voice of a friend who constantly discourages your faith, who mocks the path you are on, is poisoning your spirit. You must understand, severing these ties is not an act of cruelty or arrogance. It is an act of holy preservation. You are the guardian of the sacred calling on your life, and you must protect it fiercely. To be unequally yoked is a practical reality. If you are tied to something pulling in the opposite direction of your destiny, you will either be torn apart or you will be dragged off course. This is a moment of decision. You cannot have one foot in my kingdom and one foot in the world. You cannot hold my hand while also holding the hand of those who mock my ways. Choose this day whom you will serve. You cannot serve both me and the idols of acceptance, comfort, or financial gain that these unholy alignments promise you. The process will be painful. You will be misunderstood. You will be called judgmental or self-righteous. Let them talk. The pain of this separation is temporary, but the regret of a forfeited destiny is eternal. Cut the ropes. Let the anchors fall away, and run, unhindered, into the purpose I have for you. As you sever the ties that hinder, you must also forge the ties that strengthen. Listen to me. I did not design you to be a solitary warrior, an isolated island of faith. The task ahead is far too great for any one person to accomplish alone. A spirit of fierce independence can feel like strength, but it is often pride in disguise. This is why I have placed you within a body of believers, my family. You are a hand, a foot, an eye. You need the other parts to function, to see what you cannot see, to reach what you cannot reach. I know you have been wounded by others in my family. The church is not a museum for perfect saints, but a hospital for broken people, and sometimes broken people hurt each other. But I command you not to let the wounds of your past cause you to forsake the strength of the whole. Do not allow the enemy to use your hurt as a strategy to isolate you, for an isolated soldier is an easy target. I am calling you now to find your fellow warriors. Pray for them, and I will reveal them to you. These are not simply friends who will comfort you. These are allies who will challenge you. Look for those who will stand with you in the gap, who will hold up your arms when you are weary, just as Aaron and Hur held up the arms of Moses until the battle was won. Find those who will speak the truth to you in love, even when it is hard to hear. Link your shields of faith together. There is an exponential power, a spiritual law, that is released when my chosen ones pray in unity. Your individual prayer is powerful. It can move mountains. But your unified prayer can change the spiritual landscape of cities and nations. When you and another believer agree on earth concerning anything you ask in my name, that agreement creates a resonance that unleashes my power from heaven. It is a sacred transaction. This is not just about praying for each other's needs. It is about uniting for kingdom purposes. Find your allies, kneel together, and begin to take territory from the enemy. Pray for your city. Pray for your leaders. Pray for a harvest of souls. Let your unified voices rise as one, and watch as I release a power that you have never seen before. You were made for community, and in the unity of my spirit, you will find the power to finish your race. My child, I have always been honest with you, and I will be honest with you now. The land of destiny I have promised you is fruitful, a place flowing with the milk and honey of my blessings. But I have not promised you an uncontested entry. That land is also guarded. There are giants there. Do not be surprised when you encounter them. They have been sent with one purpose: to intimidate you, to make you forget my promises, and to convince you to turn back and settle for the familiar misery of the wilderness. I want you to name these giants right now in your heart. The giant of crippling debt, which roars that you will never be free. The giant of chronic illness, which mockingly asks where your healer is. The giant of deep-seated addiction in your family line, which claims it will own your children too. The giant of overwhelming fear and anxiety, which roars in your mind every night, stealing your peace. These are not imaginary foes. They are real spiritual opposition. But hear my command. Do not be intimidated by their size or their roar. Remember my servant David. When he stood before Goliath, all of Israel saw an unbeatable giant, a reason to hide in fear. But David saw something different. He saw an uncircumcised Philistine, an enemy of the covenant, who was openly defying the armies of the living God. David's focus was not on the size of his enemy, but on the size of his God. The battle is not yours, my child. It is mine. You are not called to fight in your own meager strength, but in the limitless power of my might. I want you to change your perspective. I want you to look at those giants that tower over you, and I want you to see them not as obstacles, but as bread for you to consume. Their defeat will become your nourishment. Conquering them will strengthen your faith and become a testimony of my power for all to see. David ran toward his giant, not away from him, because he knew the battle was already won. I am giving you that same assurance today. Stop talking about how big your giants are, and start telling your giants how big your God is. Pick up the 5 smooth stones of my promises, run towards the battle, and I will guide your shot. The giant will fall. Listen to me carefully, my beloved. This final stretch of the race will demand more from you than any part of the journey that has come before. The initial excitement has faded, the path has grown steeper, and your spiritual muscles ache with a weariness that goes down to your very soul. Your emotions will be stretched to their breaking point. Your body will feel the strain, and your mind will be viciously assaulted with the temptation to give up, to sit down on the side of the road and say, I can't do this anymore. This is the point where many turn back, but you will not. The difference between those who start the race and those who finish it is one word: endurance. And endurance is not something you are born with. It is something you develop when you refuse to quit. When you feel you cannot take another step, you must fix your eyes on one thing and one thing only: my Son, Jesus. He is the author who wrote the beginning of your story of faith, and He is the finisher who has already secured your glorious ending. Look at Him. See Him on His own race to the cross, weary, betrayed, and in agony, yet never giving up, for the joy that was set before Him. His endurance is your ultimate example, and His Spirit within you is your immediate source of strength. Do not grow weary in doing good. Do not lose heart in this fight. I promise you, in due season, at the perfect, appointed Kairos moment, you will reap a harvest of victory if you do not surrender. Endurance is not a grim, joyless struggle. It is simply faith that has been tested by fire and has not given up. It is your spirit looking at an impossible situation and whispering, "Nevertheless, I will trust Him." When your natural strength is completely gone, that is when you will experience a miracle. I will give you a supernatural second wind. I will pour into you the strength to run and not grow weary, to walk and not faint. Every single step you take from this moment forward, no matter how small or shaky, is a resounding victory against all the forces of hell that are screaming for you to stop. So get up. Take a deep breath of my grace, and take the next step. I am with you. You are weary, I feel it. But I have just promised you my own strength to finish. To leave this conversation now is to look at my outstretched hand and decide you would rather fall. Can you imagine the sorrow it brings a father to see his child choose the ground when he offers to carry them? Do not wound me this way. Stay, and let me show you the divine purpose in every delay you have endured. My child, I must speak to you about one of the most painful and confusing parts of this journey, the wait. I know the agony of my silence. You have prayed, you have fasted, you have obeyed every instruction, and still, the promise I gave you seems no closer. The heavens feel like brass. Your heart aches with a deferred hope, and you cry out, "My God, have you forgotten me? Did I hear you wrong? Why is this taking so long?" You interpret my silence as denial, my pause as punishment. You must change your understanding. Sometimes, my silence is not a rejection of your request, but a vital part of my preparation for its fulfillment. A delay from my hand is never a defeat. It is a strategic pause. You are seeing only a small part of the map, but I see the entire terrain. Let me tell you why I sometimes ask you to wait. First, a delay is often my protection. I may be holding you back to shield you from a hidden danger or an enemy ambush just around the bend. What you are experiencing as a frustrating delay, I am orchestrating as divine protection. Second, a delay is for positioning. I am waiting for the absolute perfect moment, the Kairos moment, to release you for maximum impact. A premature birth can be dangerous. A premature launch of your destiny would result in a crash. I'm a master strategist, and my timing is always perfect. But most often, my child, the delay is for perfection. It is in the waiting, in the uncomfortable space between the promise and its fulfillment, that I do my deepest and most transformative work in you. It is in the waiting that I deepen your trust until it is no longer dependent on evidence. It is in the waiting that I perfect your faith, burning away the impurities of self-reliance and pride. The promise itself is not the ultimate prize. The person of character and unwavering faith you become while waiting for it is. So do not despise the wait. Trust my timing. Trust my heart. Even when you cannot see my hand at work, you can always trust my character. I am good, and I am working all things together for your good. The promise is on its way. For so much of your journey, you have fought from a defensive posture, deflecting blows, enduring attacks, and praying that the storm would pass. You have seen yourself as a victim of your circumstances, a target of the enemy. But that season is over. I have not called you to be a victim. I have called you to be a victor. I have not called you to cower in a trench. I have called you to take new ground. It is time for you to understand the authority I have placed in your hands. I have given you authority to trample on the snakes and scorpions of the enemy's plans and to overcome all his power. This is not positive thinking. It is your spiritual reality. The power that raised my son from the dead now resides in you, and with that power comes a delegated authority that you must learn to wield. Your words, when they are aligned with my will and spoken in faith, carry the creative and destructive power of the spiritual realm. They can build up my purposes and they can tear down the enemy's strongholds. For years, you have been circling the mountains in your life. The mountain of debt, the mountain of family brokenness, the mountain of fear. You have described these mountains, cried about them, and pleaded with me to remove them. Today, I am giving you a new strategy. Stop talking to me about the mountain, and start talking to the mountain about me. Stand before that obstacle, and in the authority of the name of Jesus, you command it to be moved. The name of Jesus is not a magic word or a religious charm. It is your power of attorney. It is the key that unlocks all the power and authority of heaven on your behalf. At that name, Every knee in heaven, on earth, and under the earth must bow. Every demonic force, every principality, every stronghold of the enemy must submit to that name. So stop begging the enemy to leave you alone. Your prayers have become weak pleas to a defeated foe. I want you to stand up, look your spiritual opposition in the eye, and command it to leave in the authority I have given you. Command that spirit of fear to lose its grip on your mind. Command that spirit of infirmity to leave your body. Command that spirit of lack to be uprooted from your finances. You are not a helpless citizen of a conquered land. You are a child of the King, seated with me in heavenly places, far above all rule and authority. It is time you started acting like it. Wield the sword of my word, speak with the authority of my name, and watch the forces of darkness scatter before you. My child, listen to this truth and let it settle deep within you. Finishers are not born, they are made. They are not the most talented or the most gifted. They are the most disciplined. The victory in this final stretch will not be won by a momentary burst of inspiration or a fleeting emotional high. It will be won in the quiet, consistent, daily choices you make. It will be won in the furnace of discipline. I have given you a great and powerful anointing, but it must flow through a channel that has been prepared. A disciplined life is that channel. An undisciplined life will leak the power I am trying to pour into you. Therefore, you must partner with me in this process. I am calling you to a higher level of discipline in 4 key areas. First, you must discipline your mind. The primary battlefield is between your ears. The enemy will bombard you with thoughts of fear, doubt, impurity, and despair. You cannot prevent these thoughts from coming, but you do not have to offer them a seat at your table. I command you to take every thought captive and make it obedient to me. This is an active, moment-by-moment choice. When a thought of fear enters, you must actively replace it with a thought of my faithfulness. You must intentionally choose to think on what is true, what is noble, what is right, what is pure, what is lovely, what is admirable. Second, you must discipline your body. Your body is the temple of my Holy Spirit. It is the physical vehicle that will carry you across the finish line. You cannot fulfill the demanding calling on your life if you are constantly neglecting the vessel I have given you. This is not about vanity or worldly standards of fitness. This is about stewardship. It is about honoring me with choices that bring life and strength to your body, making it a ready servant to your spirit, not a weary master. Third, you must discipline your tongue. Your words have immense power. With your tongue, you can release life or death over your own future. You can prophesy your victory or you can curse your circumstances. Stop speaking words of defeat. Stop complaining about your trials. Stop agreeing with the enemy's assessment of your situation. I command you to open your mouth and begin to speak my promises, and only my promises, over your life. Finally, you must discipline your time. Your days are a gift, and they are numbered. The work is great, and the time is short. You must become intentional with your hours. Stop wasting your most precious resource on distractions that have no eternal value. A disciplined life is not a restrictive, joyless life. It is a powerful life. It is a life that has been completely yielded to me, creating an unobstructed channel through which my glory can be revealed. As you draw closer to the finish line, as the threshold of your destiny comes into view, do not be naive. Do not be surprised when the intensity of the spiritual battle around you increases tenfold. The enemy will not stand by idly and watch you claim your inheritance. He will throw everything he has left at you in a final, desperate attempt to stop you. He is roaring so loudly, my child, because he knows his time is short and your victory is imminent. His roar is not a sign of his strength, it is a sign of his panic. You must be prepared for his tactics. Expect an increase in opposition. Suddenly, doors that were open may seem to slam shut. People who supported you may turn against you. False accusations may arise from sources you never expected, designed to wound your heart and discredit your testimony. Be prepared for a resurgence of old temptations. The very things you thought you had conquered years ago may suddenly reappear with a surprising and seductive force, tempting you to disqualify yourself in the final lap. A spirit of confusion will try to descend upon you like a thick fog, making you doubt my voice, question your calling, and wonder if you are on the right path after all. I am telling you this not to frighten you, but to arm you. These are not signs that you have done something wrong or that I have abandoned you. They are the clearest confirmation that you are on the right path and that you are a significant threat to the kingdom of darkness. These are the desperate, predictable tactics of a defeated foe. So what do? You do not get distracted. You do not become discouraged. You stand firm. You anchor yourself in this absolute, unshakable truth. I have already defeated him. He was publicly disarmed and made a spectacle of at the cross of my Son. He has no real power or authority over you except for the power you give him when you agree with his lies and submit to his fear. When the accusations fly, you stand on your righteousness in me. When temptation comes, you stand on the power of my word to deliver you. When confusion descends, you stand on the last clear word I gave you, and you refuse to move until I speak again. Your victory is not in question. It is already an accomplished fact in the spiritual realm. His final attacks are nothing more than the last, violent gasps of an enemy who knows he has already lost. Do not fear his roar. Stand your ground. The finish line is just ahead. My warrior, for this final, grueling leg of the journey, I must teach you about one of your most vital and misunderstood weapons, joy. When I speak of joy, your mind immediately goes to happiness, to laughter, to the absence of problems. But the joy I am speaking of is something entirely different. The joy of the Lord is not a fleeting emotion based on your circumstances. It is a supernatural, unshakable strength that flows directly from my Spirit living inside you. Happiness is a response to what is happening around you. Joy is a response to who is living within you. It is the deep, settled confidence that I am in control, that I am good, and that your ultimate victory is secure, even when your world feels like it is falling apart. This joy is not something you can manufacture on your own. It is rooted in your unwavering, intimate relationship with me. It is the fruit of knowing you are profoundly loved, completely forgiven, and have an eternal hope that transcends any temporary trial. It is this joy that will be your fuel when your own energy has run out. When a wave of weariness and despair crashes over you, threatening to pull you under, I do not want you to simply try to be strong. I command you to do something that will feel counterintuitive. I want you to open your mouth and praise me. Praise is the key that unlocks the deep wellspring of joy within your spirit. You will not feel like it. Your emotions will scream against it. But you must do it as an act of faith. Begin to recount my goodness. Thank me for the victories I have already given you. Sing of my faithfulness. As you do, you will feel that supernatural joy begin to rise up, pushing back the darkness, silencing the voice of despair. This joy is a fearsome weapon. It completely confounds the enemy. He cannot understand how you can have joy in the midst of the battle, how you can sing in your prison, how you can praise in your pain. Your joy is a powerful testimony to a watching, hopeless world that your God is real and that He is with you. It is the flight of victory flying over your life long before the battle is officially over. This is the strength that will carry you through the final, agonizing miles of this race. Let go of the search for happiness, and instead, Intentionally cultivate the supernatural strength of my joy. Remember the victory that is already won, and let that truth be the unending source of your praise. The finish line is so close. I have armed you with my own supernatural joy for this final push. To stop hearing my voice now would be to lay down your weapons just as the celebration is about to begin. It would pierce my heart to see you surrender so near to home. Stay with me. I want to describe to you what it feels like to cross that threshold. This joy I have poured into you is your strength to finish, and it is also the seed of revival for a world lost in sorrow. If that joy now creates in your heart a burning desire to share this strength, then you are hearing my invitation to partner in the mission. Your gift becomes the oil that fills the lamps of other warriors who are running on empty, allowing them to shine my light in the final, darkest hours of the night. It is a fragrant offering of worship that rises before my throne, a testament to a heart that trusts me completely. Hear my promise to you now, because I love a cheerful giver. I will make all grace abound to you, so that you will abound in every good work. Your own joy will be your shield, and your own lamp will never lack for oil. There are souls on the brink of quitting who are waiting for the very message you can send. Release your joyful offering now through Super Thanks membership, or the link below, and become a conduit of my strength to the nations. Lift up your eyes, my faithful child. Stop looking at the dust on your feet, at the steepness of the path, at the weariness in your soul. Look up. Look ahead. The finish line is now in sight. What was once a distant hope, a faint glow on the horizon, is now becoming a brilliant, unmistakable light. This is it. This is the moment you were created for. Every trial, every tear, every prayer, every act of obedience has led you to this threshold. This is the culmination of your life's purpose, the reason I called your name in eternity. The enemy will scream at you to look back, to remember your failures, to get distracted by the pain of the journey. But I am commanding you now, do not look back. The past is redeemed. Press on toward the prize, toward the high calling I have for you. You are not running alone. All of heaven is on its feet. The great cloud of witnesses, the saints and martyrs who have finished their own races, are gathered in the celestial stadium, and they are roaring your name. They see what you are about to become, the legacy you are about to secure. They are cheering you on. And I am there at the finish line, with my arms open wide, waiting for you. Run now. Run with everything you have left. Pour out every last ounce of strength, every last drop of faith. I know you are tired. I know you feel you cannot possibly take another step. And when you reach that point, when your strength is utterly and completely gone, know this: I will carry you. My supernatural grace will be the wind at your back, lifting you, empowering you, and propelling you across that line. Do not be afraid. The pain of the race, the scars you have collected, the memory of the struggle, I promise you, it will all instantly fade away in the overwhelming, breathtaking glory of the finish. The reward will be so much greater than the cost that the cost will seem like nothing. You have fought the good fight. You have stayed the course. Now come home. Run the final steps into my everlasting arms. My child, as you run these final, demanding steps, your focus might narrow to just your own struggle, your own pain, your own victory. But I need you to lift your eyes and broaden your perspective. This race is so much bigger than you. It is about the legacy you will leave behind. How you finish, the integrity, the endurance, the unwavering faith you display in this last season will determine the echo your life leaves on this earth for generations to come. You are not just running for yourself. You are running for your children, and for your children's children. You are running for the people in your community who are watching you, even when you do not realize it. Your obedience today is cutting a clear path through a dense and confusing wilderness, a path that will make it easier for those who come after you to find their way to me. When you refuse to quit in the face of impossible odds, you are building a bridge of faith for someone else to walk across in the future. Your life, when you have finished this race well, will become a powerful and undeniable testimony of my faithfulness. It will be a story that shouts to a cynical and doubting world, "Look what God has done. He is real, He is good, and He can be trusted." People will look at the scars you've endured and see not defeat, but the evidence of battles won. They will hear the story of your darkest nights and see a testament to the dawn of my grace. You will become living proof that my power is made perfect in weakness. The seeds of faith, love, kindness, and truth that you have sown, often with tears and great sacrifice, will not die with you. They will take root and produce a harvest long after you are gone. A kind word you speak today may become a tree of life for a family 100 years from now. An act of integrity you perform in secret may set a standard that shapes the future of a company you will never see. This is the power of a finished race. It creates ripples in eternity. So do not think of this final push as just a personal struggle. See it for what it is, the most important work of your life. Finish well, not just for your own reward, but for the sake of the countless souls who will follow in the footsteps of your faith. Your legacy is eternal. In your life on earth, you have sought the approval of many. You have longed to hear words of affirmation from a parent, a spouse, a boss, your friends. You have worked and striven for the applause and recognition of others. But I am telling you now, all the applause of this world, all its trophies and accolades, are a fleeting and hollow whisper compared to the sound that awaits you at the finish line. There is no greater, more satisfying, more soul-quenching sound in all the universe than hearing me, your Creator, your Father, and your King, look you in the eyes, with a smile that radiates pure love, and say these words, "Well done, good and faithful servant." This is the commendation you were created to live for. This is the only approval that truly matters, for the opinions of men change with the wind, but my approval is a settled, eternal reality. When I say to you, "You have been faithful," I will not be speaking of your great and public successes. I will be speaking of the things no one else saw. I will be speaking of your faithfulness with the little things I entrusted to you on earth. The faithfulness to show kindness when you were treated unjustly. The faithfulness to maintain your integrity in a secret business deal when you could have easily profited from deceit. The faithfulness to whisper a prayer for someone who had slandered you. The faithfulness to get up and seek my face in the morning when your body was weary and your heart was heavy. Because you were faithful in these small, unseen moments, I will declare, I will now make you ruler over much. And then, my child, I will give you the greatest invitation of all. I will say, your obedience, your love, your unwavering trust in me even in the darkest of nights has brought immeasurable pleasure to my heart. And then I will open my arms and say, now enter into the joy of your Lord. This joy is not a feeling, it is a place. It is an atmosphere. It is the very reality of my presence, and you will get to inhabit it, breathe it, and be saturated by it for all of eternity. Let the thought of this moment be your strength. Let the longing for these words be the motivation that drives you forward when every part of you wants to quit. Run for the well done. It is all that will matter in the end. When you have crossed that finish line, when the race is run and the victory is won, a glorious reward is waiting for you. My word is true. A crown of righteousness is laid up for you, reserved in my heavenly treasury, with your name engraved upon it. I need you to understand the nature of this crown. It is not made of cold, lifeless gold and earthly jewels, the kind of treasures that men fight and die for, that rust and fade away. This crown is alive. It is a living testament to your journey, woven from every single act of faith you took when you could not see the path ahead. It is woven from every time you chose obedience when your flesh screamed for comfort, from every time you chose forgiveness when your heart cried out for revenge. Every tear you shed that watered the seeds of my kingdom has become a diamond in that crown. It is not just a reward. It is the beautiful, radiant story of your life, redeemed and glorified. This crown is a symbol of your hard-won victory. It will represent the giants you face, the mountains you climbed, and the fires you walked through. But it will be an even greater symbol of my unending grace, the grace that empowered you every single step of the way, that picked you up when you fell, and that carried you when you could not go on. And what will you do with this magnificent, custom-made crown, this eternal symbol of your triumph? I know your heart. The very first thing you will long to do, with tears of overwhelming gratitude streaming down your face, is to take that crown from your head and lay it at my feet. For in that moment, in the full light of my presence, you will understand with a perfect and breathtaking clarity that every victory was mine, every ounce of strength came from me, and all the glory, all the honor, and all the power belonged to me alone. That act of worship will be the culmination of your entire life's journey. And you do not have to wait until that day to begin. You can start laying down your crowns now, the crown of your pride, the crown of your self-reliance, the crown of your own achievements. The reward begins the moment you decide that I am the only one worthy of all praise. My child, you must know that as you run these final miles, a great celebration is being prepared for you in my kingdom. This is not an afterthought, not a hastily arranged gathering. This is a meticulously planned, glorious feast, a divine party in your honor that has been in the works since before time began. My word tells you that the angels rejoice over one sinner who repents, and they do, with a loud and holy joy. But I tell you, they will throw a feast that will shake the foundations of heaven for a finisher who comes home. The joy over your arrival will be immeasurable, an explosion of light and song that will echo through all eternity. This will be the ultimate homecoming. At this celebration, you will finally experience the great reunion your heart has longed for. That beloved parent or spouse or child or friend that you have grieved for with such deep sorrow. They will be there at the gates, their faces radiant with joy, waiting to embrace you. And you will see, face to face, those faithful heroes of the faith you have only read about in my word. Imagine it. You will sit and talk with Abraham about the nature of faith. You will listen as David plays his harp and sings a new song to me. You will hear Paul speak of the mysteries of my grace. You will laugh with Mary Magdalene, marveling at the love that redeemed you both. There will be no more distance, no more time, only a glorious, unending fellowship. And I will be there. A place at my grand banquet table has been set for you from the beginning. Your name card is there, written in my own hand. I am waiting for you to take your seat. This will not be a summer, silent affair. It will be a party filled with the sound of heavenly music, laughter that is pure and unburdened, and a light that emanates from my own glory. You will finally feel what it is like to belong completely, to be known fully, and to be loved perfectly. The loneliness you have felt on earth will be a distant, forgotten memory. So when the path gets lonely now, remember the party that is waiting. Remember the saints and angels who are already cheering for you. Remember that your Father is waiting to welcome you home. I have just opened a window into heaven for you, showing you the feast I am preparing, the reunion that awaits. To turn away now would be to treat this eternal promise as a common thing. It would tell my heart that the home I died to give you is not worth your full attention. Please do not grieve me. Stay for these final truths. Your eternal assignment is greater than you can imagine. You often think of finishing your race as an end. You imagine crossing the finish line and entering into an eternal retirement, a blissful state of rest where all work and all responsibility ceases. My child, you must radically change this perspective. Finishing your earthly race is not an end. It is a graduation. It is a commencement ceremony for the real beginning of your eternal life of purpose. Your service to me does not end at death. It is only then that it truly begins in its purest and most glorious form. On earth, you serve in a broken world, fighting against sin, struggling with your own weaknesses, and battling relentless opposition. In my kingdom, you will serve in a perfect world, in perfect harmony with my will, with a glorified body and an unhindered spirit. The work will not be a toil, it will be a joy. The service will not be a burden, it will be a delight. I have new, glorious assignments waiting for you in my eternal kingdom. I told you in my word that if you are faithful, you will rule and reign with me for all eternity. This was not a pretty metaphor, it was a job description. You will be given real responsibility, real authority, and meaningful, creative, and fulfilling work to do. And what will prepare you for this work? The very life you are living right now. Every bit of skill, every ounce of character, every drop of wisdom you have fought so hard to gain on earth. None of it is wasted. Every lesson in patience you learned in the waiting, every bit of resilience you forged in the fire, every act of leadership you practiced when no one was watching, it is all part of your training. Your life on earth is the apprenticeship for your eternal reign. The person you are becoming is the person I will entrust with authority in the new heaven and the new earth. You will participate in my creative works. You will help govern with perfect justice and wisdom. You think this life has been an adventure. My beloved, you have not seen anything yet. Your greatest, most thrilling adventures are still to come. So do not see the finish line as an ending, but as a glorious graduation into the true and eternal purpose for which you were created. My child, as you near this glorious finish line, battered, but not broken, what you have endured is no longer just your private story. It is being transformed, consecrated by your endurance, into a powerful testimony. Your life is now a story of my grace, a living narrative of my power, and a public declaration of my unwavering faithfulness. This story was not written with simple ink on paper. It was written with your tears, carved out by your struggles, and illuminated by your ultimate triumph in me. And now, you have a sacred responsibility. I command you to share it boldly. Do not be ashamed of the chapters that were filled with doubt, pain, and failure. Do not hide the parts where you stumbled and fell. Those are the very parts that will give others the most hope, for they will see their own struggles in your story and realize that if I could bring you through, I can surely bring them through as well. I know the fear of vulnerability. I know the temptation to present a polished, perfect version of your journey. But your scars are not blemishes to be concealed. They are signs of victory to be displayed. They are the undeniable proof that you were wounded in a great battle, but you were not destroyed. They will bring hope to others who are still bleeding from their own wounds, assuring them that healing is possible. My word declares the eternal principle for victory. You overcome the enemy by two things: the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony. The blood of my Son is the finished work that secured your position of victory. But the word of your testimony is what activates that victory in the lives of others. When you open your mouth and speak of what I have done for you, how I rescued you from despair, how I healed your broken heart, how I provided for you when there was no way, you release my resurrection power into the atmosphere. Your testimony pushes back the darkness in someone else's life, It gives them a weapon to fight with. So do not hide what I have done in you. To hide your story is to rob others of hope and to allow the enemy to keep his influence in silence. Shout it from the rooftops. Share it with the friend who is struggling. Tell it to your children. Your finished race becomes a manual of hope, a roadmap of grace for everyone who will listen. After the long and grueling battle, after the breathless marathon of your life, after the final, desperate assaults of the enemy have ceased, a great promise remains. My word declares that there is a Sabbath rest waiting for the people of God. This rest is the ultimate destination you have been running towards. It is the divine peace your soul has been aching for since the day you were born into a world of struggle. But you must understand what this rest truly is. It is not the empty inactivity of the world, not an eternal state of boredom. The rest I have for you is a complete and total cessation from all struggle, all striving, all conflict. It is the end of the fight. It is the final, glorious exhalation of a warrior who has come home. Imagine it, my faithful child. Imagine what it will feel like. No more fighting against the desires of your flesh. No more wrestling with the insidious temptations of the enemy. No more striving to be good enough, to measure up, to earn your place. No more struggling against the broken systems and the painful realities of a fallen world. The war will be over. The battle will be won. The striving will cease. This rest is a place of deep, profound, and uninterrupted peace. It is a state of perfect and unending communion with me. You will no longer have to seek me in the quiet moments you carve out of your busy days. You will simply exist, eternally, in the fullness of my presence. You have fought so hard for so long. You have wielded your sword with courage and held up your shield with a faith that refused to waver. But now, the time is coming to lay down your sword. Your armor, having done its job, can be removed. Your work is finished. Your rest is not only earned through your faithfulness, it is a gift, freely given by my grace, because of the finished work of my Son. So hear my invitation, which echoes into your weary spirit today. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. It is a promise that finds its ultimate fulfillment the moment you cross the finish line. Enter my peace. Enter my everlasting rest. My child, as you finish this race, as you cross that sacred threshold, a final, beautiful transformation takes place. The cumulative effect of your journey, every trial you endured, every act of obedience you chose, every moment of intimacy we shared, has acted like a divine polishing. The rough edges of your pride have been smoothed away. The grime and stains of the world have been washed clean by my word and my spirit. The fire of the forge has burned away every impurity, and what remains is a vessel, pure and perfect, ready to do something extraordinary. In that moment of finishing, you become a perfect reflection of my glory. When the hosts of heaven and the saints who have gone before you look at you, they will no longer see just you, with the memory of your human frailties. They will see a perfect and radiant reflection of me. Your character will reflect my character. Your love will reflect my love. Your peace will reflect my peace. Your life will have become a living letter from me, a living epistle written not with ink but with the Spirit of the living God, telling a glorious story of redemption for all to read. You are my workmanship, my poimet, my masterpiece. I have been the artist, and your life has been my canvas. All along, through every dark and light stroke, I have been creating a work of art that would display my splendor. In the finishing, the full, breathtaking beauty of my work is finally revealed. The light I placed inside you at your new birth will no longer be a flickering flame, struggling against the winds of this world. It will be a blazing, unquenchable bonfire. You will shine with a brightness that does not originate from you, but radiates through you. This has always been the ultimate purpose of your calling, my child. It was never just about your salvation or your own personal victory. The final goal has always been that your life would point directly and undeniably to me. Through you, my name will be glorified. Through your finished race, all will see my goodness, my power, and my faithfulness on glorious display. On a dark afternoon, on a lonely hill outside Jerusalem, my son, having perfectly completed the most difficult and glorious assignment in the history of the universe, gathered the last of his strength, looked to heaven, and spoke 3 words that shattered the kingdom of darkness and changed eternity forever. It is finished. That divine declaration of completion secured your salvation and guaranteed your victory. Know the triumphant cry of the ultimate finisher. And now, listen to me. You too will reach a point of completion. You too will come to the end of the specific, unique, and glorious assignment I have given you. There will come a moment, at the end of your race, when you will be able to look back on the path you have run. You will see the battles you have fought, the giants you have conquered, the people you have loved, and the work I gave you to do. And in that moment, a deep and settled peace will wash over your spirit, and you will know, with an unshakable certainty, that it is done. The task is complete. The purpose is fulfilled. This is the ultimate moment of victory. It is the moment when you will be able to say, with the Apostle Paul, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. In that moment, you will have fully and completely answered the call I placed on your life back in the echoes of eternity. The faint whisper you first heard in your heart will have become a triumphant, finished symphony of a life lived completely for my glory. The battle is over. The work is complete. The legacy is secure. And I will look at you, my beloved, my good and faithful servant, with a love and a pride that will fill you with a joy you cannot yet imagine. And I will say, now my child, come home. It is finished. My final word to you is it is finished, but for countless others, the race is still being run, and the fight is fierce. Now that you have received the promise of your eternal victory, if your spirit yearns to help others cross their own finish line, then your new assignment begins today. Your support is not a donation. It is you passing the torch of hope and funding the mission to bring my chosen children home. You become a co-laborer in the great harvest, and every soul that comes to me through this ministry will be a jewel in your eternal crown. Hear my living word for you. Whoever refreshes others will himself be refreshed, and as I sent my Son, so I am now sending this message through you. As you give, I will pour out upon you a fresh anointing for your own new assignments in my kingdom. The victory has been declared. Now it must be delivered. Act on this word now by giving through Super Thanks membership or the link in the description, and seal your legacy as one who helps others finish well. My child, do not let the echo of my voice fade into silence. This is your moment of alignment, a sacred intersection of my promise and your will. Go now to the space below and make your declaration before all of heaven and earth. Write with the authority I have given you, I am chosen, and I will finish. Let this declaration shatter the chains of the past and serve as the first step you take across the threshold of your destiny. I am watching, and I will empower the word you speak in my name. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.